This is a HeadGum podcast.
This week on the program, we've been waiting to talk about this one for a deado decade. It's R.I.P.D. I'm Andrew Deado.
Yosemite Sam Sadak.
Eric Siska, Department.
Chris Cabin.
And we hate movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Hate Movies. Thank you for tuning in. As always, that's right. We've been wanting to do this one since it fucking came out, and we didn't think the show would be around when it happened.
We really
This
did not.
is R.I.P.D. from 2013, directed by Robert Schwentke.
It is kind of depressing that some of this stuff is in its 10th.
Absolutely.
Is totally
Oh.
regular, 10-year rule, totally
Sure
fine.
is.
New listeners won't know this, but this is how depressing this is. We started this podcast, this very own show you're listening to. 3 years later, this movie comes out. We have the 10-year rule. I don't even think we started doing the worst of the year before yet.
No, that was much more.
No, I
So
don't think
we
so.
still had that 10-year rule, and we're like, I'm going to be like, living a life, having a family. I'll
totally.
never, well, the podcast, that's not going to happen.
I at least thought I would have gotten rid of the pubic lice by that point.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
So what are
It's
they doing
good to
down
set
there?
goals even when you don't meet them. It's always nice.
They just keep coming back. What's
Yeah,
that
yeah,
line?
they're
Keep
building
grabbing
me.
There's this line where it's like, oh, you think you get them all, but you forget about the eggs.
Now you got to shave down there because you got like this burrow or whatever that they're like crawling up.
Yeah, I call it
into
the sixth burrow. That's correct.
Szostak Island.
Robert.
I don't have pubic lice.
Oh yeah. All right. Nice
Yeah.
cover.
Sure you don't.
Robert Schwentke, by the way, you got to get a load of this.
Key
because
of Red.
It's
unreal.
It's almost as if this dude solely directs English language feature films that we can do episodes on. Flight Plan, terrible.
Mhm.
Time Traveler's Wife,
Oh, yeah.
my wife told me it was terrible. Red, terrible. Divergent series, Insurgent and Allegiant,
Ooh.
terrible.
Yeah.
And Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins.
You know,
Really
it
bad
said we
movie.
missed that for worst of whenever that was. Now
Yes.
in
Oh,
9 years,
yeah.
like, I can't
You're
believe
right.
we're doing fucking Snake Eyes.
It
Well,
will
actually,
be.
you know what? We're recording this before the drawing.
Yeah, so
Maybe listener
Oh,
request month. Someone had the foresight, the fucking decency to request that movie.
Get another Schwentke in here. It is. I mean, this is just disgusting that Germany has fallen this far. That this is what you're offering to us. Really, this is the country of Fassbinder. Fucking
This is
Jesus Christ.
This is a German fellow.
This is a German fellow.
Yeah, man.
put that wall back up. Keep some of them in there, you know? I mean, obviously there's too many.
You know, I'll
Yes.
just put it out there, man. If the wall didn't come down, maybe this movie wouldn't have been made.
Yeah, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Did the Kaiser survive?
Somehow the Kaiser returned.
And he's got an even pointier hat.
That's
What
not
were you going to
good.
ask, Eric? I'm sorry.
Yeah, see? Now is someone I heard someone or it was on chat recently or something. You know, we're weekly live streaming now on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/wehatemovies. I forgot something, which I'm known to do.
Sure.
My attention span, not great. Probably an undiagnosed something or other.
Yeah, I was
Sure.
going to point that out actually.
Yeah, totally. But someone in the chat I forgot something, and they were like, "Oh, classic Jupin, that fat idiot." So now, dude, now you know what it's like, Eric.
Yeah.
You feel like a total
Well,
moron.
Now, did they actually say fat idiot, or is this
Probably
you? Are you
not.
editorializing?
No,
Okay.
that you're right. You know what, Chris Cabin? When you write, you're right.
Andrew forgot. I'm pretty sure that's what.
it was a classic Andrew.
Okay.
That's where it
You know,
stopped.
it's kind of hard to even with us when we get going. We're
sure,
going. We're going.
Sure.
We're going. It's like there's ninja stars being thrown around. It's like
Totally.
what was I gonna say? We've already moved on and we're trying to save the
Well,
princess.
I mean, Eric, it's true. It's like we get ahead of ourselves a little bit, much like the movie R.I.P.D., much like Uncharted, has the confidence to say, my centerpiece must be at the front of my movie to interest people, and here's this big, fat fucking wart
It's the
running at you.
stupidest fucking shit in the world. Is this like Free Guy? The Free Guy kind of did this too, right?
Well, I was about to say something with Uncharted. I think in that episode, I say something about when they freeze framed, I expected him to be like, you're probably wondering how I got here. Or whatever, right? But
we get it.
It doesn't do it. But in this movie, you hear fucking Ryan Reynolds in this voiceover, which never comes back.
No.
You think you've had a bad day at work?
Geez.
Suck my fucking balls with that
think
shit.
You've had a bad day? Yeah, I was working. I got killed. My life is over. My wife will now, who knows? And now I'm assigned to this, and I'm instantly working on it. And I kind of have a weird detachment from my own fucking life that just ended.
You think you have it bad? I was leading a fucking DC property last year, and now I am in R.I.P.D.
No
this
shit,
is the weirdest
dude.
thing.
This is 2 years after Green Lantern.
Green
My
Lantern,
wife,
wow.
Jen, last night, she didn't watch this with me. She's like, did Ryan Reynolds have a fucking deal with the devil? Like, how did, I mean, because,
Yes.
I mean, like,
It's
this
weird.
dude, I mean, like, you want to talk about quote unquote white mediocrity, et cetera, white men failing up. This guy's had nothing but chances. Like,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
I like so many huge, huge. This movie's a catastrophe of a bomb. Green Lantern is a catastrophe of a bomb.
But
they like keep throwing it at him.
he
Give
had
him more
a
chances.
brief streak in the late aughts where he did, in 2009, he did Adventureland. He did, holy crow. We were
Well,
just
so
talking
hang
about
on.
it.
So Adventureland, he's great in because he's just kind of playing a smooth talking dick.
The
Yeah.
proposal, which was
yes.
actually successful,
Big
right?
Sam- and that's the thing also, just to go by these one by one here, keep him in rom-coms because it's
Yeah.
a proposal, whatever, it's whatever, but he functions, I think, much better in those kind of roles.
And then the change up, which was before this movie,
Yeah.
maybe a year or two.
yeah. He's body swapping,
Yeah,
Body
he's body
swapping.
swapping.
pissing
It's
in fountains and whatnot.
comedic premises. You know, you got your Van Wilders back
But
in the day.
just a
Very
little
good
Ryan
Van
Reynolds, Ryan Reynolds fact that I was looking up this afternoon. Since the year 2002, he has appeared in a major motion picture, at least one, every single year.
Yeah.
Since 2002, so we're talking, what,
16
21 years?
Yes,
Yeah.
and 16 out of those 21 years, multiple. And I'm talking 2s and 3s, sometimes 4s.
How is this possible?
It's insane.
He's a
And I mean,
very
so-
handsome man.
Some of them are cameos, etc.
And there was also back in a time when you could actually release multiple movies a
Yeah.
year. The fact that he had multiple releases in 2009 and 2011.
09, he's in Adventureland, X-Men Origins Wolverine, The Proposal, and something called Paperman.
That's like an Arnold streak where you're like,
Yes.
wow, I cannot believe all those movies came out in the same year.
But with an Arnold streak, you look at them and, you know, not
It
that
makes
Arnold batted
sense.
1,000, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a lot of them, you're like, these are some pretty okay
Here you go,
movies.
2015, Mississippi Grind, The
Yeah.
Woman in Gold,
'Cause
and Self
he's-
slash
Arnold-
Less.
He is good in Mississippi Grind.
Okay.
Arnold was like a real talent, real charisma. This is a guy that a board member thinks has that. You know,
That's a really great way to
Yes.
put it. A board member thinks that he's got the juice. I
Yeah.
mean, like at one point he did have the juice. I watched a good chunk of Two Guys, a Girl, in a Pizza Place,
Good TV guy.
aka Two Guys and a Girl. Van Wilder, I'm sure.
you know what? Last night I watched Two Guys and a Girl.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, no, it wasn't on TV. It
It
wasn't
was
on.
on adulttime.com.
I just realized it wasn't on TV. It was on a laptop.
Well, that's also how you watch The Fablemans, was on your iPad.
Yes.
So who the fuck knows what's
Eric's
going on?
on browser streaming 3 the hard way.
Well, you know, when I have to,
Oh, Chris Cabin.
but you know, the Fablemans, you're seeing
Mitzi getting stooped by Seth Rogen.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is still-
Can I tell you?
I'm cooking your dad.
yeah, that's
Hang on a
kind of a
second. Wait.
sexual adult film.
Hang on a second, though, because I don't know if anyone else notices in The Fablemans, but I swear to you, it must be a direction straight from the mouth of Steve Spielberg himself, because that Seth Rogen laugh, which we all know what it is definitely like tempered down, muffled, if you will.
He's very good in that movie. He gives a real like nuanced performance.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Chef,
Yeah.
that was really great. But let me just say one thing here. We're hanging around the campfire and everything. It would be really fantastic if You just put a muzzle on that fucking laugh. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I directed fucking Jaws, all right?
What are you talking about?
See, this is direction. It works. Come to think of it, I guess Michael Schwentke, the German Michael
Schwentke.
All right. Yeah. Okay, Seth. I know you're going to go back to your little trailer and smell your Mary Jane Awana. I'm going to tell you right now, I want this to be studied. I don't want this to be your wild fucking pineapple.
oh shit.
I hear it in there. I fucking hear it in there. God damn it.
In the year of our Lord 2021, he was 2022. Ryan Reynolds was in
Jesus.
The Adam Project,
Yeah.
Bullet Train, and Spirited in 2021.
Wait, hang on. Bullet Train cameo, I believe.
I'm just saying.
we saw his face.
Major
Okay.
motion picture.
Right,
fair
This
enough.
guy's,
Fair
I mean,
enough.
like, so like all that's to say is
Is that all of it? Have we gone through it all?
No,
No,
we
I
have that.
interrupted.
But the point is, this dude gets a lot of chances.
Yeah.
And to his credit, he fucking works. He really, really shows up and wants to be on a movie set.
We are also in that weird, awkward time period, especially right now, where there are no more comedy movies unless it's him and Will Ferrell or whatever.
Yeah.
You just have to be a legacy now. There's no one's coming up as like a big leading comedic man, which is actually a fucking travesty, because this is what led us to people like Tom Hanks, and you wouldn't have my name is Otto today if you didn't have his comedic output years ago.
Oh man, it's like the ice caps melting. It's like we might in 35 years we might not have an old grouchy man to put in that movie. And that's a fair point, dude. I'm not kidding.
It's true.
I mean, the thing that happened with Reynolds is that romantic comedies went away.
Yes.
He was doing fine because the proposal also, he's good when he is matched with a woman. He has good chemistry with women comedically. Like Just Friends is it's not a movie I like, but it works at least.
By the way, stay tuned, I think, right?
Sure,
Isn't he
sure.
a giant fat suit?
He is a
being like,
giant
I was
fat
a
suit in
fat
this.
blubberman.
Look, we still have Shallow Hal to get to first, but then
dude. How about packing on the pounds month?
We call it fucking fat phobia month, dude. That's what that is.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And
We
that
could
used to be
100%.
comedy.
We could 100% find at least two more to make a fucking
Fat phobia
Yes.
February, maybe a year from today. We'll see.
Wow, fat phobia February, dude. So heavyweights,
February.
Heavyweights, yeah.
fat brewery. Is that what you just said, Chris?
February.
I kind of like Fapuary.
Yeah, February.
Wait, that almost sounds like Fap-uary, like you're jerking off.
That's a different month altogether.
We could redo Baby Cakes. Remember that movie?
Oh, big fat phobia in that movie.
Very clearly, we want to talk in detail about what's happening in R.I.P.D. Very
Yes,
obviously,
fuck,
we
yes,
are
okay,
very interested in. So we opened, and it's as we said, it's
Record
how did
scratch.
I get here?
Yep.
And like we get a fat buzz, CGI fat buzz.
Noted arrested for domestic abuse, Devin Ratray.
Not great guy, but then we get 4 or 5 days ago.
Right.
And then
By
it's-
the way, it's
Isn't that a Reverend and Ribald? They don't even know how many days ago it was.
No, well, because I just said it was 4 or 5 days ago, and then it's doing it again.
By the way, Buzz is a monster in this moment, and
Yes.
it's the worst CGI you've ever seen.
It's
in your
worse
life.
than League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
It is.
Yeah.
Like
It's
a lot.
crazy. It's bewilderingly
which
bad.
came out, I think,
A
check
decade,
my math on that, but I think it's exactly 10 years
Yes.
prior.
Very video gamey. The design and look of all of these creatures.
A game
very
I would
video
never
game.
be playing, because I
Nobody
can tell
wants
you
to.
the design of this shit, you know what it is? It's whatever bad garbage Resident Evil knockoff or possible Resident Evil sequel you're putting out there. Where it's a big fat monster and you got to shoot it with a shotgun.
Yes, but we got to get through this plot because
Yes.
someone's going to be mad if we don't. Okay.
Oh,
So, but the people.
The folks who are averse to grass touching.
Okay,
Listen,
fair,
listen,
yes.
listen. Now, Ryan Reynolds is planting a orange tree in Boston.
I love
What a-
my orange tree. I love it.
but it's going to die instantly in Boston.
In that first Beantown winter.
Well, yeah.
Why
he's-
not
he's
an
gonna
apple
paste
tree?
Sam Adams
It
all
has
over
nothing to do with oranges. Nothing of that has anything to do with oranges.
You know what? Here's what it is. Holy shit.
Written
Here's
for
what it
Los
is.
Angeles.
Here's what it
Written
is.
for Los Angeles.
No, what? No, what? Here's what it is. He plants an orange tree, okay? Do we recall in Frankie Ford C's Godfather
Yeah.
trilogy. Orange signified death. He plants an orange tree. He dies.
Smart
It's
film.
Doing something after all.
Really,
but-
really thinking about it.
His French wife, Stephanie Szostak.
She's got,
Szostak,
by the way,
yes.
The bad villain from Iron Man 3.
Yeah, same
Is
here, by the way.
she? Wow. Great line of dialogue here. Heavy lifting by her in this line. how she like jumps on him in bed or whatever. It's like, the French girl got the jump on Boston's finest. Here's by the way, husband, here's who I am and here's who you are. And this is your job. And yes, I'm French. So everyone, we're not
Let me tell
distracted
you,
by it.
she's so like cutesily like speaking English with that accent. I was expecting her to be like, would you like me if I had a pot? I would like a little pot belly. Would you like a pot? Little pot belly?
He would never kill Zed. He doesn't have the power to do it.
The
Zed's
funniest,
dead, baby. Maybe. I don't know.
It's a chopper.
the funniest thing in this scene, one of the many things they do establish, you're right, she is just like, here is where we live. This is what I do. And this is where we are.
Would you like to have sexual intercourse in our bedroom where we are currently laying?
It is the year 2013.
He does the thing, and it's like it's set up so later in the movie you're like, oh wow, that's smart. Where he touches her chin, like puts his thumb on her chin, like holds it right before he kisses her, which is the least specific move in all of intimacy.
Yeah.
Everyone does that.
Yes.
It's
You
not
know-
like, oh my god, that's just the thing me and my husband do. Oh my
You're,
god.
you're grabbing chins? You're touching chins?
Dude, I'm grabbing chins every day.
Damn, man.
Really?
Chin grabber. Oh.
A romantic
everyone
man,
does
then.
that.
Well,
Well,
you know what
I
it
don't
should
know
have
if I don't know if I grab the chin. Maybe I get to there, but
Yeah.
I'll say this. Maybe it's a thing, right, where it's like face off,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like rubbing his hand
Oh.
down
Oh,
her
dude.
entire face.
Nice.
I think that's what we're trying to get to is something specific. So later it's like,
Sure.
but that's our secret handshake. Like,
Yeah,
if you like grabbed her ass and then like smacked it twice, you're like, oh, that's his thing.
or like pull her like ear in a certain way.
Yes,
but
exactly.
You're right, but the fact that it's like, remember when we kissed, like man and woman do, like
Yeah.
husband and wives.
Oh my goodness, my husband always pushes his lips against my own in a way we invented called kissing.
Yeah, and they got a beautiful goddamn house with backyard, and he's like, "Gosh darn it! If only I had more money."
We don't even do we find out what she actually does?
She's
No,
a
she's a
French
woman.
person.
Just a French person. Okay.
She
That's
just sits
it.
around like smoking and eating bread.
Yes,
Sounds great.
Passively reading the newspaper.
Beautiful. Coffee out of a bowl.
The beginning when he's burying these doubloons, and I'm like, okay, so I'm totally gonna understand what this is at some point, right?
Right.
And that check is cashed in like an hour 15 in. And
Yeah.
I never know what this insane gold.
So
that they
much
have.
of this could be solved just by being corrupt.
Yes.
Yes. I'm also like the minute this the first scene is him putting this gold
Yes.
in the ground under this orange tree. And then we cut to this romance. I'm like, get back to the blood gold. What the fuck was that? Get me back. What was that?
What was that?
It's a really bad way to introduce it, right? You need a thing where it's like it's the middle of the night. His partner, played by Kevin Bacon,
Yes.
like, is dropping him off at the house. They have a little like, I'm gonna bury it in the backyard. Don't worry about it. I bought this orange tree that she's always wanted. She's never gonna question it. You need some of that because like in this movie, like I know I'm signing in for R.I.P.D. and okay, but like. Yeah, he's just dumping this gold and nobody's saying anything. And the movie's only been on for 7 minutes.
I mean, the fact that this movie is such a high budget and it was like a summer thing, it was only 96 minutes. And even Bridges has come out and said that this is cut to ribbons.
they sliced and diced again.
Well,
So,
that's
I mean, I buy that, but even still,
I mean, I just hate the fact that it starts so seriously. Like Ryan, this first like after the first like bit with the fast forward from the fucking centerpiece. Once we get to the actual here we are, here starts the movie. It's so serious
Yes.
It
until
is.
he dies, and like you are very clearly trying to be Men in Black.
yes.
Everything, including your title, is essentially referencing Men in Black.
Yep.
So why the fuck would like it starts? Everybody's funny in Men in Black.
Yes.
There's no scene without a joke.
Well, and
Like-
especially you have Ryan Reynolds, but this is before he was like fully Deadpool all of the time.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
This is
kind
like
of-
Blade Trinity.
Yeah,
Ryan
he's just like
Reynolds.
really like kind of
Ooh, that's
grim.
rough.
He's very grim in this movie. You're right. It is
Yes.
Blade Trinity esque.
it has that
Hannibal King, by the way.
serious tone because he should actually give the stakes shouldn't be saving the world. It should
No.
be saving his wife like Ghost or something.
Well,
Yep.
fucking when we get to when we get upstairs to Proctor and Mary-Louise Parker, and she's like, you know what ghosts who rotting in the world do? That's climate change. That's like death worldwide.
Dude.
I'm like, no, stop. No, it's just ghosts.
And
it's
that's-
just
well,
fucking ghosts.
maybe that's a sly remark about overpopulation.
Oh, sure.
Because you think about how many ghosts there are. There's more ghosts now than there ever was because you got to count all the people that died before us. So
Absolutely.
that's my father, my grandfather, my great grandfather, my great great grandfather, my great 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 grandfather.
And they're all
fellas.
They're up there just licking and gnawing at the ozone layer,
Hey, they-
trying to get it fucking crack it through there.
What
I
else
think
are they going to do?
We are told, though, that it is only the spirits of those who have not moved on
sure.
Yeah.
and don't want to go to
To
either
hell?
heaven or hell.
Well,
Right.
Yeah.
that's a great. I mean, the thing is, this movie, it takes so. They just push this thing right through. Like we spend more time in with Ryan Reynolds and this drug bust and blah 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 than we do like the beginnings of the R.I.P.D.
Yeah.
This is the police station. This is what this does.
Yep.
In the middle of the movie, when he eats a hot dog, he's like, I can't taste anything. And Jeff Bridges is like, well, yeah, you don't eat, you don't sleep, but all you do is work. And I'm like, why am I just finding this out now?
It's crazy. And like you think about, I mean, because Chris started this off, there's no way to end the comparison to Men in Black.
No.
But the way Men in Black starts, I mean, there is the cold open where it's like the flashback and, Tommy Lee Jones meeting the aliens and Roswell and whatnot. But then like the introduction to Will Smith is this like, he's chasing a criminal.
Yes.
But it's still funny. It's not like hyper serious, but you are able to figure out like, all right, he's a cop. He's good at what he does, yada, yada.
Even that UFO lore is funny. Like you gave that tall man some flowers.
Well, yeah, totally. But then like you get to,
Freeze means stop. Like there's jokes in the chase.
when you get to like what in this movie, you can't even call it didactic because they just fucking forget to tell you anything until these random scenes where it's like, you don't eat hot dogs, but I like the mouthfeel or, whatever. When they start Men in Black, like it's an Ed Solomon screenplay. Motherfucker knows what's up. Like they secretly teach you all that shit. It's like the fucking, you're putting the pill in the peanut butter.
Yeah.
You're getting all of this information about what the MIB is, what they are, what they do. But it all,
it's also stylish. That movie's got a style to it that helps it flow.
Well, Barry Sonnenfeld is
Exactly.
an actual director, and this dude, I think, might just be three little kids in a fucking huge trench coat. I don't think this guy's a real man.
So.
Copy of a copy of a copy syndrome. Sonnenfeld was a decent copy of Tim Burton.
Yeah,
sure.
This is a copy of a copy of a copy, and it's German.
Yes.
So, and it's just like, I mean, there's no flavor to it. Like, it's just like he knows how to make things look bubbly.
But
like,
Sonnenfeld was a DP under the Coens and shit like that, right?
True.
And
Yeah.
he knows how to frame a shot. He knows how to make things look interesting. He knows how to get that flow going, and this guy doesn't.
And I mean, like the other thing too is like aliens are obviously a huge metaphysical, like, whoa, we're not alone in the universe. What happens when you die is
Yeah.
a huge question that this movie doesn't want to answer.
well,
you know what I mean?
but Steve, there's a very interesting blacklight poster you see for about a minute.
I'm into
of
that.
a big hole
Dude.
going up in the sky.
More of I am totally okay with that one moment in this movie. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
It's kind of neat.
Kevin Bacon, by the way. Sorry, just applauding.
I had no idea. I watched this movie in 2013. I had zero memory of Kevin Bacon being in this.
I
Until
think this was
watched it again.
a fucked up as all get out Astoria screening.
Yes.
I think we watched this at your old apartment.
Oh yeah.
Because I knew that I had seen this movie, and parts of it I did remember, but unsurprisingly, as the runtime kept going, more details, including maybe the entirety of the third act, I didn't remember.
Kevin Bacon shows up and he's like,
Yes.
hey man, what'd you do with your gold? He's like, oh, I buried it. It's a good idea. This is what I'm doing with mine because we got this gold from this drug bust yesterday. By the way, we live in the city of Boston. We're both detectives. We're getting a lot of information out of it.
Kevin
Yes,
Bacon
yes.
making an attempt at some sort of Bostonian / New England accent. Ryan Reynolds, unsurprisingly, not trying.
Well, he went
that.
inside of his
Smart
mental
move.
closet, grabbed the Mystic River accent down. Under,
Yep. Oh,
it's under like 3 board games. It's like, I got the Mystic River accent.
Let's
Hold
see
on.
how Candyland, Battleship, Star Wars Monopoly. Oh, there it is. There's my Mystic River accent.
No, I'm leaving the flash dance up there. Too old for that these days.
Dirty or not
Footloose.
Footloose.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he's just like, yeah, blah blah blah. Ryan Reynolds like, you know what? My wife is so attractive. I'm just gonna forget about this whole situation.
Yep.
I'd
rather be poor with my hot ass
Do
French
you know-
wife than in jail.
You know what? How
rich.
you do that is you leave it buried and shut the fuck up.
exactly.
Why are you telling this guy that, like, oh no, I'm going to actually turn it in after the
Well,
fact?
here's the thing.
Adding all these fucking questions to everything.
Let me ask you this, though, because what we learn by the end of this wretched movie is that all that gold are it's pieces of this large staff that is going to open up
The
the
shaft
blah, blah,
of
blah.
Jericho.
The staff
Yeah,
of Jericho,
pardon me.
which when they assemble is clearly not a staff.
No, it's just
That's a problem
It's like
for
a
me.
placemat.
It's like a weird little monument thing.
Yeah,
it's not a staff.
I don't know how
It's
we
like
don't.
a box.
I
or
don't know how
something.
we don't know what the word staff means in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
But all that aside, right? Like, so, like, hey, spoiler alert: Kevin Bacon's a fucking deado,
Yeah.
and he's trying to do this whole plan, right? If Ryan Reynolds' whole thing is like, I'm taking this gold because I want my lady wife here to like have a good life, and I want us to stop having money problems or whatever.
Yeah.
But if his gold is part of the staff of Jericho,
Yeah.
He was never going to get it anyway.
Well, no,
Kevin Bacon's fucking rolling up in the night to dig up the ocean or the orange plant.
I also don't know how some drug dealer had this mystical gold.
Oh,
No,
Garza, dude?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
because that's the whole thing we get the call in the locker room. Oh, we got an eye on Garza. It's time for a huge SWAT operation
Is
out
this-
of nowhere.
Now, it's obviously this just adds more questions. Is Kevin Bacon framing this guy to get the gold from him because he knows it's from the staff of Jericho? And if so, is this Garza fellow trying to get the staff as well? Or is he just came across gold? Or did someone
dead
sell
gold?
him?
I got you on this one. Garza was clearly, we got deados on one side. What we got the other side, livos.
Oh,
And livos are
Livos.
protecting the golden shaft of Jericho
Sure.
and all of its
Got to
pieces.
protect the shaft.
Got to protect the shaft at all times. Rub the underside.
Work the balls.
Oh, always.
Is this, make sure that taint is nice and
Oh,
moist.
yeah.
Yeah,
Showed
no
me.
dry.
Is
No dry
this-
taints here.
Is this naked fat guy the buddy from According to Jim?
he is indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's
Sure.
got to be like scenes deleted, like somewhere later on.
It's gotta be, right?
He's like in it for 5 seconds.
He's in it for 5 seconds, but there's also this thing when Kevin Bacon is entering, it's like they're making you think that he is like the cock of the walk. Because the guy's like, man, looks like you were already celebrated. And like they have a high school, like, here's what our boys did this month.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
like you won the fucking the football game against
Well,
fucking
listen,
LAPD.
Cops love patting themselves on the back.
You don't
Certainly.
say. I mean, so that
and
happens.
stopping people from breathing.
Also,
true. Yes,
very
yeah,
big
yeah.
fans of that. That would work. And then in the locker room, of course, he sees a fat. He's like, ha, ha, fat. Ah, fat. There we go, fat. Ryan Reynolds, how you doing? Ah, fat.
Given their track record, I'm surprised they didn't choke during that football game either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's too bad.
Uh,
But
so
like,
it's a big drug bust.
big
Yes.
drug bust. I mean, because we're really running through this story, and immediately Kevin Bacon is going to flip on him. And the thing that drives me, and it happens pretty much, like it's a big action scene that's pretty bad.
It's
Awful.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
And also, like, if Ryan Reynolds wasn't murdered in a few seconds and like involved in the R.I.P.D, this movie would be about this tits up Boston Police Department
Jesus
fucking
Christ, yeah, dude.
like the explosions that we're seeing here. Like,
Well,
this is a massive
insane.
failure
It's in
of
a
law
a
enforcement.
Terminator factory for some
Yes.
reason.
Yep.
Of course, it's always a Terminator factory, a warehouse, something
Yeah.
nondescript. So yeah, Kevin Bacon shoots him in the head, in the face, or whatever.
No, he does not. This is what drove me
Yeah.
nuts.
Right, because they say
Yep.
it later on, but he shoots him in like the.
he just
the
did a
chest.
vest and then he falls
But
off and
my
then hits his
question
head.
is, are we not? Does he become a ghost instantly, so
Yes.
we don't see the exact carnage?
Yes, that is correct.
But we go down with the body, though.
Right.
It's not like the
We
soul
do.
came out of the body or
I
anything like
But
that.
the way the head hits there also would be blood there, but there isn't.
No, there not I think it's instantaneous. Like they're not going to show
We
you.
we are desperately trying to get that PG.
Well, we are that because multiple times in the movie they say that Kevin Bacon shot Ryan Reynolds in the face.
And it just does not happen.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Maybe he
that
did
that
it
doesn't-
afterwards. Like maybe we're not seeing this.
Oh,
He desecrates
shit.
the body.
really made sure.
I
Yeah,
like
it just
that. I
might
like
be.
that.
That
That's
might have been
awesome.
it.
Oh, Garza did it.
So yeah, he had a shotgun. He just absolutely blew it away.
And we get a moment of, but just movie does multiple times. And we loved in the 2010s,
Ooh.
maybe because of Matrix residue.
Yeah.
Is that slowdown of action scenes. But this is even more slowdown of him just walking through this completely frozen landscape, which, yes, to your point, Andrew, is thousands of bombs going off, cars being flipped on fire. I don't understand how any of that is happening.
When he leaves the warehouse, there's a huge like plume of fire coming out of it. And you definitely see one cop getting fucking wrapped, like someone pulled a wire attached to his waist and just went. Like, that dude's definitely dead. Like, I'm telling you, if Ryan Reynolds survived this dude is getting put on fucking probation. IAB's getting involved. Oh, he's going down. Because, like, this is so bad, you can only sort of intimate that he is working with Garza. But that's how bad it is.
But he also got Garza, it sounds like. So if you get the big bad guy,
that's true.
They don't give a fuck what happens.
Well, Garza's a pile of meat in the court. Like, there's no one survived this Holocaust. Like, nothing is making it through this.
Well, Kevin Bacon did because, he's
a deado dude.
Well, you might not have noticed it. You might not have noticed it, but he does have a St. Christopher's medal on his wrist that might be important later.
That his mother gave him. It's his armor. It's his charm bracelet. He wears it into battle.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds, let me just point this out for you really quickly. It's just an incidental thing about my character.
Because later on in the film, we're noted that, like, that they carry something special. It could be a fucking, mask for their Szostak, and they can walk around, not be deceived.
If they have an accessory, all rules are off. Every rule that I spent the last 40 minutes telling you, that's double backwards.
Oh, wait, was he wearing shoes?
I used to have a Timex that could put my stench down.
Magic shoes. That's what it is. He's wearing pants.
He's got those little things on the shoelaces at the end. He's probably prevented him soul stank.
Yes, now the soul stank we have to.
Oh yeah,
oh my God,
stank, dude.
It'll rot like your house. It'll rot everything around you if you're a dead person living a life. But the bracelet prevents it.
Yes.
I was just looking up this patron saints here, right?
Yes.
He says it's a Saint Christopher.
Yeah. It's a cop saint, right? It's a patron saint of cops, or no?
It's not though. That's what because I was looking it up. Saint Michael is the patron saint of law enforcement, and I know this. I was reminded of it because you better believe it. My fucking little bro's got a huge Saint Michael tattoo.
There you
thing
go. Unless he got duped.
Unless it got duped, right? But actually, I was Googling, and it is Saint Michael. Saint Christopher is the patron saint of travelers, including motorists, which, if I'm remembering right, was somewhere decades ago was a thing like for travelers, like AAA would give you some sort of like Saint Christopher fucking thing.
Magic AAA card. Get away from him.
That's always the thing about the Catholics that never makes any sense. It's like, your grandmother dies of cancer. It's like, it's just so sad. It's just God's plan. He's got it all figured out.
Sure.
And then it's like, oh man, if you're gonna go travel there, you should pray to Saint Christopher. Make sure he does that
right.
So like, is Saint Christopher going to be like, hey man, can I just fix the plan real quick? I don't want that guy to die in a plane crash because he prayed to me.
Well, Catholicism is not monotheism, right? Because you got the Holy Trinity, which are three people, and then also you got all the fucking cast of characters.
Apropos,
you got the whole monster party up there.
Apropos of R.I.P.D, dude, with the Holy Trinity, it's two dudes and a ghost.
Yeah, well, the Father, the Son, which
and the Holy Ghost.
And the Holy Ghost is God's cock.
Yeah, but it's all Kaiser Soze. It's all the same dude.
True. That's also true.
You drop that coffee mug and it just says fucking Holy Spirit at the bottom of it.
I think there's also probably, most definitely, just thinking about coming from a Catholic family myself too, like, I think some of these Catholics use these saints the wrong way, because I'm looking up here and Saint Christopher is like the patron saint of traveling, and blah, blah, blah. My mother would also go around the house when she couldn't find something and say, St. Christopher, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, what the fuck? And she'd be like, oh, St. Christopher is the patron saint of lost blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
And I'm like, so now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about R.I.P.D. and I'm thinking about my mother's catchphrases. I was just like, was anybody correct? Was anyone at any point doing research about anything?
Yes.
Meanwhile, there's a fucking genocide in Rwanda, but some fucking saint's got to get off his ass for your mom's car keys. That's what we're dealing with?
Exactly.
You know, growing up, I was like not a very lapsed Catholic. My grandmother and great grandmother lived with us, Austrian Catholic, and never heard a fucking saint before.
Oh.
Christ was big.
Yeah.
They didn't talk about saints.
Well, no,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's all been. I mean, everything's gone flattened. Everything has been cheapened. Now all they have is like Saint Seth, who is the patron saint of energy drinks.
Sure.
I mean, they don't really have that much aspirations anymore.
Yeah, Saint
generally.
Goober, dude. He's the patron saint of partying down.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't get there. Like traveling, I mean, people don't even want to travel anymore. They don't want to go to the
It
movies
just
anymore.
Saint
seems
Carissa, the patron saint of Instagram.
Oh, totally. Oh, love you, Saint Carissa.
Yeah, you got to do
Praise to
that.
you.
You'll get better filters if you do that.
Saint Buster, the patron saint of fast food.
Oh, totally, dude. Pray to that guy all the time. Oh, Saint Buster, I hope the Wendy's is still open.
So Ryan Reynolds is sucked into the sky, which
Yup.
then brings him to the R.I.P.D. department instead of going to Judgment, which would send him to heaven or hell. And Steve, I think you've mentioned this on the show before, but I think this is a great example of that cynical, ironic detachment from the material.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm dead. I'll never see my wife again, and my life is over. And he just kind of doesn't care.
He doesn't give a shit. And I mean, it's just, and also like Mary-Louise Parker, who, by the way, this is a movie for guys who like movies. She's totally sexed out this whole movie.
Yeah.
Great
She's
actress.
sexed out.
She wears go-go boots the entire film.
Oh, sure. I guess so. Well, you know
Is
what?
that
to be
what
fair,
we're counting as sexed
I
out in the
couldn't
age
tell.
of cleavage? And
I couldn't tell that she was sexed out because I couldn't see them ankles.
yeah, that's
But,
I mean, also,
Like
yeah.
Jeff
and then all of the bodacious babe jokes that are like,
Oh well,
throughout
when
this
we
film.
get to the
Yes,
fucking
it's
what Jeff Bridges is doing.
it's a movie for guys who like movies.
Sure.
I will not stand
Sure.
down from that point.
I agree with Steve.
I mean,
I
there's
think
also
she's
it's
sexed out.
Mary-Louise Parker, and
Yes. She's
you'd,
very attractive, yeah.
you'd be hard pressed to not make her
For sure,
sexed out.
but-
Yes, my eyes sex her up. Yes.
But her 3-minute spiel is like, oh, it's a kind of a mid-level marketing scheme because it's like, oh, you know what? Ooh, you were about to go to Judgment, and you want to go to Judgment, not with the stuff in your record. Why don't you work for us for 100 years, and then we'll I'll put it. Not even I'll get you into heaven because we don't say heaven or hell. We just say Judgment and the cosmos, et cetera, et cetera. 100 years, we'll put in a good word for you.
A good word. Would you like to be in this movie? We have this movie we were thinking about. Your other movie ended because you got shot.
Right.
You got shot in the face by Kevin Bacon. But I gotta say, this is my favorite scene because of one thing and one thing only.
I know where you're going with this, dude.
Go-go boots.
Eric, how'd you know?
No, I know. Can I guess?
You know.
And then you can finish it up.
You know it.
A special appearance, and I thought it was going to come back more than once, and fuck you for not. The Dan, dude.
Yes, Steely Dan's Hey 19 is
Right.
playing in the background
Hell yeah.
lightly for
Yes.
a minute there. And that is the only respite of fucking peace I had during this goddamn movie.
Because it turns into, because it's 2013 and we loved this. Random,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Because he's like, what's with the Steely dancing? It's always on. We don't know why.
Yep.
Random.
Random.
But
This is heaven. You find Bolivian in the heaven. Okay.
But I mean, so, like,
interesting.
the idea is only cops, by the way.
Yep.
That's right.
Only
The
police.
PBA is ever powerful.
It really is. They got to really break down that union. Only cops get this second chance at redemption because they need some carceral systems have to exist in all forms of life,
Of course,
and
of
all
course.
forms of
Yeah.
metaphysics.
Prison has to exist in every plane of existence.
Yeah.
So they people who escape judgment and go back to Earth somehow, we never explain how or why.
Nope.
They just escape judgment and then
Sure.
get back into Earth as what we call deados, need to be hunted down by the R.I.P.D. And the greatest part about this, they don't. So like when they arrest them, I assume that they just send them to judgment. We never see that process.
Nope.
You see them get arrested, but you sure as fuck see the Jeff Bridges just annihilating souls from all existence with impunity. And everyone's like, hey, stop doing that. He's like, what the fuck ever?
Our bullets can rip, just to get rid of souls. And it's just like, if that's the case, why does judgment matter?
Exactly. Yeah. If he's just allowed to just annihilate souls, wouldn't there be like, I mean, you would think this about all police departments. Wouldn't there be hearings about what happened?
I love working for the R.I.P.D. 2 words. Qualified immunity.
Well, look, we had to take a lot of flights of fancy depicting the police department and R.I.P.D. We thought we'd have one thing that carried over that was realistic.
And you know what's fucking hilarious, man? And I mean, obviously there's a stark difference because this is indeed the rest in peace department. So, like, immediately from your title, you're invoking cops. But, like, in any part of Men in Black, at no point are you like, these dudes feel like cops ever. You know what I mean? Like, there's not that shit. And like,
they're more like agents of like, what do you call it?
Like X-Files, like paranormal investigators.
A little different.
And this should be that. Like, really copping it up is dumb as fuck.
Well, because it's about deportation too. It's never like, and then we fucking murder these things. I mean, obviously the bad guys and some of the bad guys in Men in Black wind up dead, but it is mostly about
we are deporting them off of Earth.
But I can understand a UFO coming to Earth and an alien getting out versus the deados just come back. If they did human possession, it'd be creepy and interesting.
Much
get
more
some body
interesting.
Snatchers energy going.
But I guess you come back as your own self, and then only if you eat Indian food random it makes you back into a big monster person.
Because Indian food, weird. Oh my god!
It has this cumin stuff in it. It's in these weird fucking unbelievable foods like chili. Just normal fucking chili.
Chili could do it, and the chili was existing in the Old West.
But also, like hearing the words like sag paneer makes these things shit themselves. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
It's a 1982 sushi joke that somehow got here.
In 20 motherfuck you 13.
Yes.
You're doing this. Jeff Bridges goes, chicken tikka masala, and then this fucking alien or this ghost just goes,
and that whole scene I wouldn't be vomiting or anything if fucking Jeff Bridges wasn't shoveling it like a fucking baby. Eating this tikka masala.
Here's the thing: is even the deados, for some reason, don't see the R.I.P.D. department. Yes. They're watching the hot lady eat the Indian food.
We're jumping around. So let's get into Jeff Bridges.
We don't. Let's end the pot.
That's a better idea.
Fuck this movie. Okay, so would you recommend it?
But this is a particularly. I mean, when Seventh Son comes out the next year. That's when we did like an emergency episode on that. The first time we ever did that.
Was that the time we invented emergency episodes?
Yes. And I think this is more embarrassing.
Yes.
This Yosemite Sam horse shit that he's doing.
Absolutely.
And he's got this like beard. And this is when like his voice got gravelly and just incomprehensible. And that's just sort of age, I guess.
Sure.
But he's also dead.
He's doing a voice. I mean,
he is, but I mean,
this is like baby. But like, again, like I hate to bring up baby so much because he is doing a lot of baby stuff in this. But like the whole fucking point is like Tommy Lee Jones was a character in Men in Black. This is like, God damn it, my penis is aching. Where is Mary-Louise Parker? My butt hurts.
You're right. Tommy Lee Jones had an inner life in Men in Black. There was a character backstory that was heartfelt. And there was a drama to it.
I'm shitting my britches.
But it's a 2013 quasi comedy script, and you have to do random.
You have to do random, and also to your point, Chris, and you want to say that you were not sexing up Mary-Louise Parker.
I don't.
She's only his ex-girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, she's not the boss. She's like, oh man, it's my bitch ex-girlfriend,
dude. Let me tell you, like. If you are putting out in your motion picture that ghosts are dating, I gotta see something.
If ghosts are putting out, I have to see it.
No, totally. Dude, we've learned already ghosts can't do it. We've learned that.
I sure can't come. Ghosts can't do it. I've been eating down there, getting all the ectoplasm out.
Well, that's why
nearly broke my jaw. It took so long.
Well, that's what so was revolutionary about MacGruber's. It really just flipped the script. And
ghosts can do it.
Ghosts can do it, and they seem to enjoy it a little bit.
See, MacGruber, so much fun, very funny. This movie not. But I will push back slightly. I mean, this is a shit fucking movie.
Absolutely.
But I think Jeff Bridges is having fun with it.
He is.
And no one else is having fun here.
No.
Ryan Reynolds has to play his fucking blank man performance that he does a lot.
Yes. I mean, it's also like it's just him doing drama. Like he's never really funny. Like it's always like occasionally he'll be getting like a very dry response to Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
Right.
But like it's not like he has jokes. He's serious about getting revenge.
You know what it is?
He's in Ghost.
Yeah.
And fucking Jeff Bridges is in Men in Black.
Yes. I think with Reynolds, though, it's a thing where he was like, oh, shit. If I start acting like my, close to true persona, which is Van Wilder, which is Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
I wish.
Well, that's the thing, right? This is pre-Deadpool, so it's like if I start doing that, oh no, they might not take me seriously. And it's with Deadpool that he realizes, oh fuck, I can just keep doing that. And people do like it.
Yes.
I'm allowed to do
it
it
for sure.
He was experimenting at this point in his career, right? Because he did Adventureland, Buried,
good movie, by the way.
Safe House with Denzel Washington. So I guess he didn't know where he was going to land on the spectrum. So, and obviously with Bridges being such
Smoking Aces, by the way, too.
Smoking Aces.
Oh, he's in that movie.
Stay tuned for Smoking Aces.
I've still never seen it.
But Bridges is so cartoonish. Maybe he thought I need to play straight man.
Sure,
which is fine. I mean, it just they have no chemistry.
But if he was going to play straight man, he needs to play straighter of a man and actually give a fuck about dying.
Yes.
Give a fuck about his French wife.
And
that's all I fucking know about her.
But also, the idea that the R.I.P.D. like later on is like, you don't sleep, you don't eat, you just work, and it's like, wouldn't that drive you insane? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because you still have a mind of a the idea of a concept of a mind.
Yeah, you're a functioning human.
You would
brain.
be like, oh wait, so like it's been 2 years and all I've done is fucking chase down these deado things. I would take the suicide rate, the ghost R.I.P.D. suicide rate would be through the roof.
Absolutely.
At least show you like, is there any downtime? Like when
does he have an apartment?
Yeah, like when Data's like working on his computer inside his quarters on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
That's the thing. Is like, all right, you're in the R.I.P.D. apartment complex. You're on 12. I'm on 6.
Yep.
You know, like whatever it is.
To be fair, that is something that Men in Black doesn't address, but it doesn't matter because they don't ever say like anything about we're working.
Oh my God, you know,
you just kind of assume that they go home.
They have a 36-hour day. There's this little line in it where they're like, we're on a 36-hour day.
Oh yes,
where like you can't sleep. You do 2 days and then you sleep.
Yeah.
But to Steve's idea of this apartment, you could have jokes there.
Yeah.
Turn on the TV and Johnny Carson could still be hosting the Tonight Show.
Well, that's a great
you know
idea.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck is like? Okay, so the whole plan when you get to R.I.P.D. It's all cop ghosts.
Yep.
It's all, and like, they don't look interesting.
Nope.
Like, some of them have Bobby uniforms on. That's about it.
It's just, you look
There's an
at
undercover guy at the beginning.
Yes, there's a 70s dude who's wearing like a leather jacket and a mustache.
You
There's
need a lot more of that.
Yeah. I mean, because there's one guy who you said Bobby. So yeah, it's like really olden times. He's got a dumb hat on. Then there's like kind of maybe like a 1950s cop sort of a thing. But none of that. That's shit that you can mine for jokes. And they sort of do it with Bridges here and there. Like he says things about his past or whatever. He does kind of have the fun line where he talks about how I'm the one who invented like, fighting in the streets with guns. So there's like things there. But
the ankles joke is kind of humorous. Like, right?
That's
like,
also good. Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
back in my day, that's all you wanted to see were look at the ankles on that one. It's
exactly.
Like, that's a fine little joke.
Yes.
It's a fine little joke.
Totally. Speaking about Jeff Bridges' past, I think 3 of us have watched R.I.P.D. 2.
Sure. Colin dead.
Dude, I'm
Demons
not
Rising.
gonna fucking apologize for not watching R.I.P.
Well, we're being thorough and doing our job.
No, not wasting our time at all, Steve. No, sir.
And
it
yes,
was a true waste of my time to worry about.
It's called 2, even though it's a prequel where we have Burn Notice
Jeffrey Donovan.
Yep.
Yeah.
as
Roy, whatever the fuck.
Roy Fist Pulitzer or whatever.
Royce of Fist Pulitzer Prize winner.
Yes, exactly.
That's the one.
And this just adds more questions than not because he dies and then he's young as a ghost. So do you age as a ghost?
Yes.
And also if you're aging, I mean,
What the fuck?
because at that, the same deal goes in the prequel, right? Like he gets sentenced to like 100 years of doing this. So like, and we're also told in this movie in R.I.P.D. 1 that he's had his sentence extended 3 times.
Yes.
Mhm.
But like, you know, I don't even remember where I was going with it. But there's like
just
shit
doesn't
in
make
the,
sense.
that's where I was going with. There's shit in that movie that straight up contradicts this movie so much to the point where I'm watching this movie today and I was like, did no one who made that terrible sequel watch this?
I can't blame them on that level. if I was asked to direct R.I.P.D. 2, I'm like, I'm not watching the first one.
Well, what if you were
just
asked
deal
to
with that?
write it?
Dude, that's what I did. I was like, I'm not watching the second one.
The second one is worse somehow.
Here's a
Yes.
question that I have that's been driving. Is Jeffrey Donovan noted? I mean, he's pretty good. He was good in Fargo season 2.
Sicario.
Sicario as well.
Fargo is great, and yeah.
Is he doing like a Jeff Bridges rootin' tootin' accent?
No, he's just doing kind of like a Tejas.
There's a
kinda-
little twang.
Yeah.
So he's just not doing the same character at all.
No.
So then what the fuck? I mean, I'm sorry. Like, just call it R.I.P.D. Rise of the Deados or whatever the fuck it's called, and it's just some other guy.
Exactly. Why wouldn't you? This is such an easy idea to repackage, like they did with Men in Black International.
Yeah.
Whoops. Whoops.
Abysmal.
Which I still have not
movie.
seen.
Nope. Never.
Unwatchable.
Don't.
It's awful. I mean, I was thinking about that movie recently because we did the Thor: Love and Thunder show in which they're both in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Also, that Men in Black movie will make you hate the concept of Men in Black. And I was so thankful when I got the 4K of the first movie and Chelsea and I rewatched it, and I was like, oh, never mind. This is excellent. But that fucking International burned me.
That's
up.
crazy because 2 and 3 destroyed all love I had.
Yeah, exactly.
3's good. I will
Is
stand
it?
by the 3's a good movie.
I got to rewatch
It's a good movie.
I was kind of indifferent to it, but certainly after you watch International, it gets a new glow to it.
So,
But yeah, I mean, like at this point, like maybe it is just something like one of them is named Rice-a-Fist Pulitzer Prize winner,
Yes.
and the other one is Rice-a-Fist Persephone, and like they just happen to fuck it up on the transit.
I think it's a thing. Well, it's weird because like it can't be a budget thing because it's a period Old West thing. So you're paying for costumes and
But it
whatnot. People
looks
can't bring
terrible.
that. It's terrible, but like people can't bring that shit from home.
Right.
So like you're paying for some of that, right?
Yes.
But I was about to say like if you just made what that movie should have been, like any one of those off-brand fake sequel in name only SWAT firefight time
sure.
cop 2 all that shit,
Yeah.
and it's just Jeffrey Donovan and he fucking dies as a
It's totally-
detective in present day.
it
And
would
it's
be
not Jeff Bridges.
Way better. It
Yeah.
would
Oh, yeah.
be way better.
because what you could do, because the concept is bad. R.I.P.D. just full on bad.
Yep.
But there's enough room to wiggle around. You could be like, it's been 10 years. That's what they did. They were like, hey, it's a property. Let's try it again. Why on earth you'd go back to the well with a character you'd have to remember from the first one that nobody liked anyway?
Why wouldn't you come on? Get some famous hero cops in this police. Get Serpico. Get Christopher Dorner.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
definitely.
It would have to be Dorner, right? Because he was
Yes.
shot down in the line of duty where we thought he was being a bad guy, but it turns out he was being a good guy.
Mark
He was
Furman's
burned
still alive or
alive.
no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Furman, I think, is still alive. Wait, who's Christopher Dorner?
He's
Which
a guy. He's a cop out in Los Angeles that went crazy and shot a bunch of people and died at like Big Bear, California.
Yes.
Oh,
I think
okay.
had-
He was targeting other cops.
He had, like,
What
a
about Cannibal
manifest-
Cop? Is he still living?
I believe so. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to get him to cross.
Yeah, maybe
over.
he becomes. Yeah, get him up there. I mean, there's a lot of
How about
options.
No, you know
Maniac
what?
Cop? Cordell.
Cannibal Cop would go to Judgment. They'd be like, all right, dude, 100 years ago. He's like, no, I'm going to go to fucking Judgment. Because you know what? I never ate anybody.
That's
You know?
true.
It was all in my head. It was all in my
That's
head.
true. Can I get sent
Thought
to hell
police.
for internet fantasies? Here's the other thing,
Get
by
sent
the way.
to
We're-
jail for internet fantasies. Turns out, which is something.
That's
I guess.
true. The thing that I was asking, I was rolling it about in my head and answering it for myself, like in IMDb, and why it's just more confounding that this film and its prequel are so different as far as one of its main characters is concerned. This is based on a comic book.
Yeah.
So,
Dark Horse comic book.
but like, regardless, what the fuck did the comic book say?
It's a great question. I mean, it's a comic book from 1999. The writer wound up being like just a TV guy. He was involved he did that Hawaii Five-0. He's a big CBS guy until he was fired from CBS because he bullied the dude Lucas Till who's on MacGyver. To the point he like body shamed him. He said, and Lucas Till said to the point of almost suicide. And then they're like crazy shit.
Wait,
And
wait,
they-
wait, 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 wait.
MacGyver?
How is someone who's good enough looking to be on the MacGyver show, which I'm sure was terrible,
I'm sure.
being bullied by a comic book writer?
Exactly. But I guess because he's your boss, dude. He's just like,
So
you don't
we-
look good enough.
Which motherfucker was this? Peter Lenkoff
Yeah,
or
that's what- yeah.
Lucas Marang?
I think it's Peter Lenkoff.
Yeah.
Allegedly, which
allegedly.
probably means it did happen.
Oh, well, here's a picture of him at fucking SD Comic-Con. So, yeah, he's probably got all sorts of troubles.
But so he
Yes,
so,
40 episodes of... Oh, no, you're... Hang on. Just want to double check here.
Mhm.
Oh, well, so... at the same time that he's MacGyvering, which was 2016 to 2020, he's on that program for 80 episodes.
Sure.
This motherfucker squeaks in 40 episodes of Magnum PI. This guy's just remaking TV.
He's a lot of money. So, but we go back.
But look at that. That's who we give money. The guy
Exactly.
who made R.I.P.D.
Exactly. Because it's a bad idea.
Well, he made Red, which made us a lot of money, Eric.
No. I'm talking about the comic book
Oh, the
dude
comic
who
book guy.
created
Okay.
Yes.
R.I.P.D.
Not the Kraut cinema
Not the
Smith.
Schwentke.
We go back for the first case, and it's Robert Nepper, who is the answer to 4 people past.
Yeah.
I was on Prison Break once, and people kind of like that
We
a
even-
little bit.
We even asked Tony Shalhoub again. I know it's tasteless, but you know what? We thought we'd just give it a shot.
And this is the Indian food scene, which we didn't. Basically, if you have to go in and he looks like a normal person, you ask a bunch of questions where the answer is Indian food, and the dude almost vomits enough until he
Yes.
turns into a
And
monster.
it's also just Blade Runner questions.
Yeah,
They're
it
doing
is.
the replicant test on them.
Yes, he's like, because Jeff Bridges is like, you read the cards and I'll hold the gun.
There's a delivery man bringing chicken vindaloo.
Yes.
Well, that's the right.
No.
Shag paneer.
No. I would hurt the turtle. I would absolutely hurt the turtle. I would hurt the turtle. Get me out of here. I would
Who
hurt
gives a shit? It's a turtle.
Much like Blade Runner, when hearing those questions makes you want to punt a turtle. I also, hearing all these questions kind of made me hungry last night. I was like, what
Yeah.
are chicken vindaloo
And
around
also,
the house? or-
does this mean India has no ghosts? No
Possibly.
They would have
devils?
billions. They'd have to have billions.
Literally billions of
But
ghosts.
maybe they went all up to judgment. Well, shit, that's the thing. It's like, what is the religion that's right?
I think to make these kinds of ideas, quote unquote, work,
Yeah.
organized religion is not a thing,
Yeah.
and it's
Just
like
say
it is just,
cosmos.
it's just
Yeah.
up or down, which I think makes it even more hilarious that we're setting this movie entirely in Boston, Massachusetts.
They should have called it Cop Out.
But I mean, like something like that does this is defending your life. And but again,
Yes.
like the first 6 minutes of that movie, well, not the first 6 minutes, when you get to Judgment City,
Sure.
Rip Torn again in Men in Black as well. Rip Torn,
Yeah.
undefeated. Just like running through stuff, giving you a ton of exposition, making it funny. I think even Albert Brooks even asks, which is a question I have in this movie, is like, well, what happens to kids? And then Rip Torn goes, they all move on. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
It just, which
Well,
is so
it's
fucking, I mean,
a,
again,
that's a
like,
great, it's a perfect fucking thing because I think there is, you've seen that movie more than I
Yes.
have, but is there not some sort of additional line where he basically says like, they haven't had enough time to do anything wrong.
Yes,
so like
yeah, exactly,
they just
yeah.
pass on. you
Exactly.
know?
See,
It's a sweet kind of nice thing, and you're right. This movie is kind of like,
because defending your life takes its time
Yes.
to set up what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, this is all plot. This is just keep the fucking train moving.
Yeah.
And like even God, so he does the perviest thing a ghost can do. He watches his own funeral. He goes there with Jeff Bridges. His wife's not crying. Very specifically,
she's
like
kind of all right. with it.
she's like, yeah, it's a
well, we
tragedy.
were having money problems, and now I got all that life insurance and the pension and whatnot.
It's a tragedy.
Well, Jeff Bridges brings him there, though. He's like, first step for any R.I.P.D. officer, watch your funeral.
Not doing it. You know what? Get me out of here. I'm done.
I'm not going to have a funeral. My family does not have funerals.
Buried
for some
at
reason.
sea, dude. We're going to bury you at sea.
Off the cliff?
No, you just cremate and you put it away and
Oh.
don't fucking say anything.
I thought you were using the Siska cliff for something. You toss a body over
Chris,
there.
Why don't you come over sometime?
Figure out how to. Once I'm dead, I'm not letting you kill me and then do it. I will. Once my body is there,
they'll never find your body.
This is like an idea wherein like Jeff Bridges is hazing him. You know what I mean? He's like, "Oh, Rook, go to your own funeral," and then he's like, "I got to do something." He's like, "Oh, we'll see how this one's gonna go."
Yeah.
He's fucking with him even more, though, because they're at the funeral. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, pretty weak turnout, huh?" And you're like, "Oh, man, you need this guy to fight ghost crime with you. Why are you messing with him?"
Oh, you know, you're in Boston, you should do a Mystic River. Have a bunch of claps hold you back.
He does. They do, and because he runs up to her and he's like, "It's me." And
we
like,
haven't talked about the Avatar program.
this is
Yeah.
where it comes in, and
Yeah,
guess
right.
what? She sees him, and everyone else sees him as James Hong.
Oh, boy.
You know,
I wish for it every day.
Trade up, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell
I'd
yeah.
rather have James Hong in the movie than
And that is, it's
Ryan
a
Reynolds.
fucking criminal
100.
thing, right? Because in that prequel, there's plenty of moments where the avatars are talking.
Uh-huh.
And we'll get to them in just 1 second. But like in this, I was like, boy, I'd love James Hong to be talking more than these fucking Ryan Reynolds
because
lines.
they don't trust it to be James Hong. It's not like, Everything Everywhere All at Once where it's like, oh, this guy's a great actor. No, it's just like, it's a little Chinese guy as Ryan Reynolds because they keep saying little Chinese guy because you know why? It's pretty random.
They give
is
a
random.
great actor. They give a great actor nothing to do.
Yes.
Just one note race jokes.
Yes.
and then he's paired with a model who doesn't even speak. Right.
She speaks
got a few lines.
a little bit, but like you see her
a lot more
than James Hong.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's a babe.
She's
right?
bodacious, Eric.
Here's the thing.
She is bodacious.
So in this movie, the avatars, right? It's a babe and an old Chinese fella.
Sure.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Mm.
In this prequel, it is
Which, by the way, Netflix just released.
Netflix just put it out.
Oh boy.
It is Burn Notice and his partner, who we learn in that movie, Gird Your Loins, is Joan of Arc herself.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
Of course.
Okay.
Oh,
So just
no. We're not. You're not
Hang
ready
on.
for judgment,
Hang
lady.
Yeah, what did she do wrong?
Oh, she stole some cocaine on the job.
And their other partner, Napoleon.
What?
so there are two avatars we live. So it's set in the Old West.
Joan of Arc in the old
Yeah.
West.
I know, Steve. It's very stunning, but more stunning information is about to hit
All
you.
right,
So
all right.
are you ready?
Okay.
We're in the Old West, and you would not believe this quantum leap bullshit, dude. Both of the avatars, so Joan of Arc
Yes.
and Burn Notice, I almost calls him Deadpool. Burn Notice, their avatars in the Old West are two black women.
Mm.
And there is a lot of like them going around and there's no names. At least James Hong is called like Mr. Whatever at one point.
Yeah.
These two women, no names. They're literally referred to as avatars. And it's a lot of like, should we be looking like this in this time period? And then like Joan of Arc is like, well, this is a challenge. You're gonna have to see how these people face. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Not for this movie, fucking
Exactly.
R.I.P.D. 2.
R.I.P.D. 2 trying to do like walk a mile in their shoes.
That's what
and
it's doing.
shit, and
But
it's just like it doesn't.
It's
It feels wrong. It feels like you're making fun of them.
Which also, yes, it feels because that's what they're doing in this movie. I mean, that's what James Hong is. The idea, the joke is big hunky white guy. Could you imagine if he was a little old Chinese guy, which is a lesser form of life? Which I'm sorry is what we're doing in this movie.
No, and you're not wrong, but there is just something about.
Oh yes.
Here's two black women in the Old West, and that's how you look, Sam. So figure out how they lived, Sam. Dr. Samuel Beckett.
Which also, like, what part of this of the R.I.P.D. like is also similarly like, why would you have an old man and a hot bodacious babe, and later the stinger joke, if there is almost a stinger joke, of Ryan Reynolds turns into a little 6-year-old girl later at the end of the movie. Like that just limits their investigative abilities,
Yes.
which is what you want them there for in the
But
first
by the
place.
way, this is reminding me because they also drive a car that says the VCR repair on the side of it,
Yeah.
which is. This VCR repair shop that they use it to enter into the regular world.
the turlet.
This is fucking the Matrix. This is
Yep.
This is the Matrix.
Dial in.
This is the Matrix.
Well, when's the last time you had a VCR repaired? Is anyone still in the theater? That was a joke.
I made a VCR. Hey, you getting popcorn? Hey, fat body, you hear me make fun of VCRs? It's just so fucking terrible. And at this point going forward, I will be announcing things that the prequel undoes from this movie.
That's exciting.
Because I just can't believe you had the privilege of making R.I.P.D. 2. And it's like I said, it's as if you didn't even watch R.I.P.D.
Well,
So
I
you have
watched-
no respect for the
That's
tradition.
true.
Well, speaking of tradition, much like
Sure.
Robert Nepper, my tradition, I also eat gold when I'm about to run.
Yes.
So Robert Nepper just starts shoveling fucking pieces of gold down his mouth
Sure.
and it runs his ass right out of a window. Slim Pickens style, Jeff Bridges
Yeah, absolutely.
rides Ryan Reynolds to the bottom of the pavement to beat this guy, and
That's
then
kind of
Can people see this? Can people see a bodacious babe
I think
riding
that's what they can
James?
see, which
you
is
would-
insane.
You
That
are
would be
watching a
amazing.
bodacious babe ride James Hong out of a
It
fucking
would make
skyscraper
since
under
they
the
have,
ground.
I mean, it's physics because literally it took me a while to figure that out. Even because since the physicality means nothing, they just bounce around like little ping pong balls. Why do they need avatars at all? Why aren't they just invisible only till the
Right.
fucking deados or whatever?
I don't know.
That would make a ton
But
of
there's-
sense.
there'd be less jokes, Steven.
True.
There's
true.
a line about how their guns won't work against the living, but they do get yelled at for their driving ability. Someone says, "Learn to drive, bimbo." Can he actually? Can Jeff Bridges hit a living person with a car in this world?
I think
Yes.
he would. Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
he could kill
so.
someone with a car.
You could actually kill so.
Yes, and he could eat someone's ass.
Well,
If he wanted to. And just to answer your question, which I know is your
But
next
then-
question is going to be,
Then
he could go to a bathroom.
eternal, not internal, eternal affairs would then be called.
Yes, they were like, all right,
Yes.
dude, you have eaten 3 asses on your last assignment. You are now going.
Just Billy go to that last ass.
Well, hey, look, my life is dead, but my sex life doesn't have to be.
And I told you, I can't taste nothing. I just like the mouth feel.
I love it. Just get me in them cakes.
Also, here's another thing that's fucking dumb about that prequel. And I guess just the bathroom is the proud tradition of the R.I.P.D.
suppose.
Because when we are coming back from the afterlife in that prequel, that again is set in the Old West, you better believe Burn Notice is blasting up through an outhouse.
Oh, that's great.
Well,
Yeah.
and-
Oh, yeah, they call it the Rest in Peace Department. I call it the Ribbon Incredible Peaches Department. That's what I come down for. Ribbon some peaches.
That's good eating.
I can't even taste your ass, pussy, or crack.
It just means you can go for longer. It means that you can be the best at eating peaches, eating bananas,
And
anything you like.
Yeah, have you ever been vaginally fucked? I have, because I'm a bodacious babe now.
Oh,
That's a
a good
great question,
point.
dude.
Yeah.
You try to fuck this bodacious babe. Yeah, there's got to be something.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
I'm beyond gender now.
If there's anything the R.I.P.D. strives for, dude, it is fucking accuracy. So you better believe those avatars have genitalia.
Well, but, it just doesn't make any goddamn. Why would they look like anything? They wouldn't look like anything.
No, it would just be like, but again, I guess it's just because they don't want to do the Men in Black thing. Like
Well,
they
yes.
have to differentiate it a little bit.
I-
So it's not that they're just there and they can make people forget.
It's
which is
high
nice.
concept comedy.
Oh,
That-
You
really?
just have to let go and go with it.
But the whole MIB neuralizer thing is something that is super missing from this movie, because there's I'm not going to go to the extent and say there's 75 9/11s at the end of this movie, but it is a
Oh no, it's a huge.
Deal.
yeah.
It is a daggum
All you gotta
full-on
do
disaster.
It's like, I'm going to possess these people and then put that memory in their subconscious. Maybe they'll dream about it.
I mean, you got to figure out something because, like, there's buildings falling down. There's all this other shit. We see a news report at one point where the newscaster straight up is like, there's a thing going around Boston that I can describe as nothing short of a monster.
Get a nobody to be the guy like, oh, this is Rick. Rick is our guy who just makes people forget things.
Yep.
And he's just hi, and he's got like Dorito dust on him. And you can get one of the nobodies. You know how I know? Because Mike O'Malley plays a main character in this fucking movie.
Absolutely.
Sure does.
Absolutely.
You can get nobodies. You know nobodies.
Well, I was kind of surprised. Like, yeah, whatever. Robert Knepper, the gold. He dies. They find the gold, and like Ryan Reynolds wants to investigate it. So he's like, "Don't you have stool pigeons?" We go to Mike O'Malley, who the scene starts. We're at Fenway Park, and it's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, David Ortiz," and I'm like, "Are we doing Full Men in Black? Like, is David Ortiz going to be a deado?" That would have been something.
That would be something.
But I think at that point though, Ed Solomon's got a lawsuit, or the Men in Black comic people have a lawsuit.
But who's somebody who's like everybody around them is dying or wants to die? Oh, John Landis. John Landis is a deado. He's a famous deado. There you go.
Oh, dude, he whenever it happens, he will do anything he can to escape judgment.
Absolutely.
Wait a minute. Why does John Landis always have a St. Christopher's medal around his wrist? I don't. What is this?
I can't believe my new partner at the R.I.P.D. is the guy who made the Blues Brothers. That'd be something. That's like the R.I.P.D. Hollywood homicide.
There you go.
And your son is a sex criminal.
And Mike O'Malley is a guy that loves the Red Sox. That's an informant.
Yep.
That they allow to be a deado in order for an exchange of information, which seems to not be going well.
No. He's a rat, really.
And now there's a runner now because in the last scene, Jeff Bridges lost his cowboy hat. I lost my hat. Now I'm trying on. You know what? The rest of the movie's going to be a fun hat montage.
This series of stupid hats.
Here's a stupid hat and a stupid face to go along with it.
At one point, he puts on a plain red baseball cap, rethinks it pretty quick. Thank God.
Smart
Dude,
move.
but it's crazy, man. Like 10 years before, and I was just like, yeah. Like, I'm sorry for red hats everywhere.
Only 3 years. 13.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Probably 2.
Yeah.
Coming down that escalator, that fat fuck. I don't care. I'll say it. Give me 1 star on the apps.
Actually, quick question: can these deados vote? That's a
Ooh.
That's how Joe Biden got elected in Georgia, okay?
All the deados going out voting Democrat.
I noticed a lot of James Hongs voting for him. And all these bodacious babes. You know they look like Jeff Bridges. You just know it.
Who do you think votes by mail? They're dead people. They're deados. They're trying to get the staff of Jericho.
Santa's Little Helper, a couple of the lassies.
Snowball 1 and 2.
Diamond and Silk. Oh, which one's dead? So Mike O'Malley, like, he gives him the gold. He's like, yeah, look into this. And then, like, immediately they follow him and he gives it to Kevin Bacon. Like, well, that's odd.
Yes.
Now there's a plot foreman.
Something, man. Like, ooh, isn't this intrigue? And it's a weird thing where Jeff Bridges, like, I mean, I guess because he comes from the Old West and it was a different time, but like he doesn't understand what like detective work
It was
is.
so bizarre. Like,
You've been doing this shit for how many decades?
So literally your job is just to go around asking people about Indian food and then shooting them in the face. Like,
Yes.
you do that day in and day out without any investigatory or any kind of intellectual pursuit whatsoever.
Oh, well, you should have been here before Indian food was invented. It was a real hell.
Right now, I think they follow Kevin Bacon, who got the piece of gold from the informant, and he goes to Ryan Reynolds' wife house. Oh, it's the trifecta. He's fucking your wife.
Oh, yep.
What is shit? I mean, again, like, a really shitty thing to say.
And then here's a classic 2010s joke. Unless she's coming to your house to scrub the porn off your computer, which a whole classy move if that's the case.
It is fucking hilarious, and my wife pointed this out, like, because he has just come from not understanding detective work.
Yes.
She was like, well, how is it that scrubbing internet pornography off of a laptop is something he's completely aware of?
Well, I mean, clearly he's reading Time magazine every week just to get the broad points of what's happening in culture, because he does have a few big ones like that.
You can jerk off as a ghost in the R.I.P.D. because he's having sex.
He's having sex with what's-his-face?
With Proctor.
Oh,
sure.
I guess you can.
So, I mean, wait for judgment. 100 years, you can jerk off all you want. I don't know.
That's not a bad idea.
Right?
If you're a ghost,
it's like a vapor
ghost cop,
comes
first
out.
of all. Well, first of all, Eric, you have to be a cop. You have to become a cop first.
Cop, yes, of course.
but no, I think this goes for all afterlife individuals.
Okay.
My question is,
Dust. You come dust.
if you're no,
That's not your question?
That's your department. I don't give a shit.
The cum
I
department.
could not give a fuck.
R-I-C-D over there.
Oh, the R.I.C.D, the Eric Siska's.
The rest and cum department.
Yes.
Wait, please.
No,
you had a serious point.
If you're a ghost and you're looking at internet pornography, is that kind of like you're always in like incognito mode because you're a ghost? It's not going to keep on the history.
But you can only watch dead porn stars, which turns out is most of them anyway.
Plentiful.
So they find Kevin Bacon goes to her, and like this is something that bothers Ryan Reynolds a lot because he's like, hey, looks like your husband was crooked and there's probably some gold under that tree. And she's like, oh my God, I cannot believe he was. Why would you give a shit? Also, you'd be like,
I did not even know who he was.
So why would you be like, oh, he was a dirty cop and he had gold. Also, that's actually my gold. Actually, that's on my property. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Fuck off my lawn.
But
I
she's
don't
like,
see a warrant. I see
even-
no warrant.
It turns out I didn't even know who I was married to.
Yeah.
You're married to the dude you knew. You had money problems.
And Ryan Reynolds is watching this happen, being like, whatever.
No, he wants to go. To be fair,
His
he wants to go
performance
right.
sucks.
I mean, sure.
It's Ryan
But
Reynolds.
the character does
Sucks.
want to go intervene.
Yeah.
And Jeff Bridges is like, hold it right there. No talking to nobody.
He does a Lebowski here. He drops the C word again.
He certainly does.
Speaking of Lebowski, the Big Lebowski will be our feature-length podcast episode on Patreon. Patreon.com/WeHateMovies for that premiere episode.
Can I tell you?
Yes,
By the
sir.
time this episode comes out,
Yes, sir.
that's already out.
That's
You
amazing.
can enjoy it right now.
Available right this instant. So stop this and go listen to that.
So we're going to follow Kevin Bacon and see where he's taking the gold. And wouldn't you know it, he brings it to fucking Buzz himself, Devin Ratray.
Is a ghost fence, I guess, is what he is. And
Which means what exactly?
I don't know, Eric. It was driving me fucking nuts.
Like, what is the black market for ghosts? And I guess everyone
What
wants
do they do it? What
like,
do they need
they
money?
traded cigarettes? Like,
Well, I
what the
guess like
fuck?
if you're because you when you're here's
Well, if you're a ghost, you don't have to worry about cancer.
No, but
And if you're
Yeah.
trading cigarettes, you become a ghost pretty fast.
Can you
if you're-
taste the nicotine?
if you're a ghost person that's escaping judgment,
Yes.
you're living on Earth. I guess you would need money to just. Well, I guess you wouldn't matter because you would have to eat. I don't know. It's very complicated.
Well, you got,
everybody.
I mean, you don't want to just be wandering the streets. Like,
Yes.
even if you don't sleep, you want a place where you can just watch TV.
Well, that's another thing. Are you capable, once you smell the cumin, are you able to go back to normal version of yourself?
I think once you pop, you can't stop.
So,
much
wow.
like Pringles.
Like, you're just some dumbass and you just decide to have chili and you're a deado and you're
Yes.
just out for good now.
Yep.
How is it not happening all the time? Like, everywhere.
That's a great
every
question.
time.
And the thing too is the people on Earth can see these monstrosities.
Yes.
Right.
Also, something that shouldn't be part of it. It's like
Nope.
they should turn into Slimers and like nobody can see it or whatever.
yeah, exactly. You turn into a literal ghost and
Yeah.
you're flying all over the place. And shit, maybe you do slime some people. He slimed me.
Yeah.
Why not?
We're definitely doing Ghostbusters here. So like basically
Absolutely.
they corner Devin Ratray and they're like about to give him the Indian food thing and he's like, fuck it. And he kind of he inhales it and then he turns into big fat Spider-Man. We call it big.
Yes, big fat
Why
Spider-Man.
can
Sure,
he scale walls, ladies and
Because
gentlemen?
you're a
Magic.
ghost.
Oh, okay.
I'm over here. I'm going to be saying
Can
that.
I
wait,
add
wait,
an
a
addendum
whiz-
to that, Chris Cabin?
Huh?
You said magic. Can
Magic.
we alter that? Just add on a little bit? Ghost magic.
Magico. Like a
question about
Jedi.
Good question on R.I.P.D. 2.
Sure.
Are the Deados still pop out in such a way or no?
We were
Not
talking about
really.
this. They don't really. Like,
That's a
Richard
better
Brake is kind
movie.
of like the head villain, and he kind of like, gets a little something,
Yeah.
but it's
It's
not
nowhere
like Devin
near.
Ratray turning into a big
He's
monster.
not. They don't turn into fat CGI things now. And goddamn, what a waste of Richard Brake, who's having a
The
little
best.
break-a-sance. Right?
Little
Yes.
break of sons. Yeah. I was yearning for him to be in a fucking basement apartment.
I
dude.
guarantee
please.
now, because Barbarian was so huge, Richard Brake cannot go to a hardware store anymore. Like, it's just like he just can't do it. He has to send somebody else. It's like, shit, I need garden shears.
So you think he
Martha,
walks into
you
a
have to
Home-
go in.
He walks into a Home Depot and someone screams like, "He's keeping women in his basement."
You're the basement guy, right? You're the basement
Oh,
guy.
shit, it's basement guy. He fucked his own daughter.
No, I'm actually a nice British man. I don't do any
No,
of that.
I saw that Barbarian, dude. You were sitting down in that basement with that big-titted monster.
Yeah,
And you are American, not British.
No, but actually, it's not. Isn't that Killer Clown? No, that's another movie I was in. Sorry.
I bet he had a VCR repaired recently because he's watching those tapes of him with redhead gas station girl.
No. That was all a movie, you see. I was in a movie.
Oh,
Holy
golly.
shit, did you kill the Waynes?
No, it's another, I'm not even sorry for what I did.
You said some fucked up shit in Doom, fella.
Yes, I'm a working actor.
Why didn't you help Nicolas Cage and Mandy?
I know.
Why didn't you tell him what he needed to know?
His fucking wife burned by the cult, you asshole.
And you needed a tiger hanging out there with you?
And that's just Andrea Riseborough. She's a very lovely woman who's still actually alive.
That campaign was fucked up. She should have been tarred and feathered for that nomination.
Well, as you see now, Bobby, you must go to Home Depot. Bobby Brake must go to.
Little Bobby Brake going to Home Depot.
You must go to Lowe's and Home Depot and hope that they haven't checked what my family looks like.
Hey, it's Basement Guy's son.
You're famous.
You come to buy some nails to lock up some doors with women in them?
Whatever, a great movie. He's whatever. Like now it's just now we're back to the beginning. This is where I got off, kind of a thing.
I fucking hate, like, we're catching up to the movie.
Yes.
Remember when the movie started? It's
Terrible.
here.
And he's like scaling buildings. People are screaming. Like he's, and the funny thing is, like, he goes through a boardroom and like everyone's like throwing up, and then like Jeff Bridges walks by and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm gonna jerk off to that sexy fucking lady."
It's like he flies up because he's like attached to
What's
Buzz.
the needle drop?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Every time that she
it's-
comes, there's a needle drop every time that everybody's like,
Is it let's
oh
get
my.
Is it Let's Get It On?
It might be.
Oh,
Let's
I
Get It On.
think it might be
as
that late.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's Let's
yeah.
Get It On,
just
yeah.
that guitar
Yeah.
riff. Yeah.
Every time it happens like 5 times in this movie.
It is incredible in this part though, because he's hanging on to Buzz and he's getting dragged all over the place. And he goes through this office. All these people are screaming shit in their pants, the whole thing. And then Bridges, as the babe, is standing there and like, this guy's fucking cock is hard. I'm like, weren't you like? Wasn't it fucking inside you when that monster came through the office?
Well, yes, but I've never seen a bodacious babe dragged on a carpet before. And the balls got a rumbling. I had to go.
And then we get the elevator set piece, and then the dude gets away. They're called back, and then it's just like, an eternal affairs has to look into it.
I love how like in this dumbass thing, we are getting like we're so beholden to the cop movie narrative that here's the scene where the brass is suspending them for the craziness.
Right. And
there's a IAB-esque hearing that's going to happen.
God talks to them through these fucking, I don't know, these little tubes like a bank.
Like a bank.
Yeah.
That's a joke that's literally 20 years too late.
Yes.
Banks, I can't imagine banks. Nobody
They
does
don't
that.
do that anymore, right?
You just go to an ATM. You can do all your
Yeah.
banking.
Steve, speaking of Spider-Man, isn't it in Spider-Man where also the Hives is soundtracked while they're doing?
Yeah.
Like, also, I love the Hives, but whenever they show up on a soundtrack, be forewarned, you are about to see the worst shit you've ever seen in your life. Every time that they soundtrack the worst scenes.
Because it's just like, having fun. It's like, no, we're not.
No, we're not. Nobody is.
Objection, no, we're not.
Certainly are not.
They're going to erase Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges because they fucked this up so bad, even though this thing is clearly happening all the time, all over the world, if deados are a worldwide phenomenon.
And so Ryan Reynolds goes to the track where his wife runs at night and like just approaches her and like
and touches her chin.
He touches her chin and she's like, "Oh my God, is that Ryan Reynolds? No, it's James Hong. I must run away. I must run away."
Oh, congratulations. You're freaking her out.
It's kind of hilarious because like when we start this scene, this woman is just running and it's very like measured exercise running, you know. And then when she gets like spooked by James Hong, and they cut to this huge, like, wide shot of the whole track, and she's running away. And, like, her arms are hilariously flailing. Like, she's like she's running away from Cocaine Bear.
I am not going to try. I will not be trying in this.
I won't be a character in the movie, but I'm running away.
I think that like the better way to do this scene, I mean, is to not make the movie at all. But the better way to do the scene is to have it be James Hong who can act. Like if he looked at her like, oh my God, like, you know, just be like, hey, James Hong, this is your wife.
Convince her and convince us, the audience.
And like, you know, he like gives her a look, you know what I mean, like a haunted look. Like he could do that.
Yes.
He gets all in her face and he's like, I'm gonna say the thing that I said to you the night that we got married. Cartwright 4. I mean, it's just like he is a great actor and he could do something. And this was one of those moments because they do give him like a single sentence here or something. And I was like, oh, cool. He's going to start talking. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, now it's just Ryan Reynolds again. Uh-oh.
Well, because they don't have the confidence. Like a confident production would be like, okay, just let James Hong get the work, do the thing. Yes. But they have to remind you that it's Ryan Reynolds. But also, this movie is reminding you of shit like 6 times we have to stop the movie for them to be like, Ryan Reynolds was corrupt.
Right. Well,
what do you mean? We only spent the first fucking 10 minutes on it.
But this is, Chris, you have to understand, this is the all hope is lost segment of the film.
Sure. We're getting the end of Act 2. You're right.
Yep. They have to go and like mope about shit. And this is also where we get Jeff Bridges with the squeeze box. But like, oh, don't be so hard on yourself. I was skull fucked by coyotes.
Jeff Bridges got a squeeze box. Ryan Reynolds can't sleep at night.
Which also, him describing his own death is not what happens in the prequel, but just like by the slightest little differences in the details, which is like even more frustrating because it's like you knew, you know, that his body was taken off by coyotes, which they do tell you in this prequel, but in the prequel, parts of him were left behind and they did bury those. And this movie's like, they dragged my whole corpse to a cave and skull fucked.
I've got ghost dementia. That didn't happen.
Also, like, so was like, instead of his funeral, like he came down as Jeff Bridges' ghost, like, look at his corpse getting skull fucked by coyotes. Like, come on, stop it!
Hey, get away from there! Get out! Get going!
I can't you finished. Great.
Came all over my brains.
What were the R.I.P.D doing back then? Killing coyotes? Were the coyotes
they were rounding up Richard Brake.
Of course.
He is shot in the back by
a matter of $80,
by a matter of $80 by some like crooked mayor in the movie that's working for Richard Brake, and then they blame this other like train robber guy on it, and that guy like guy's like a deado, but he winds up being like a good deado by the end of the movie.
Folks, do not worry about any type of spoilers for that movie because it's sub History Channel. The way it looks is
awful.
God awful. Like worse than Community Theater, worse than honestly, there was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
It's terrible.
Oh wait, I mean some of the deados are kind of good, kind of makes sense. It's kind of like Thanos. Got a Thanos deado here.
Also, what's crazy because I was just thinking about around here they're like, you know, this is where we get the whole thing about like if they assemble this thing, what it's going to do is open up the hole to the afterlife and reverse the flow of souls, and the dead will come back to Earth. Can I tell you and get shocked as fuck? That's literally what they're fighting up against in the prequel. It is another thing where Richard Brake is trying to open a hole in hell and bring the dead back. It's the same thing.
It's also
crazy.
Ghostbusters.
Yes, yeah, totally.
I mean, also Ghostbusters at the end of the day. But I couldn't believe when I'm watching this today, I was like, why does this sound so familiar? I haven't seen this movie in 10 years. It's because it's literally they made that the plot of the prequel.
It doesn't make any sense also because when the next thing is like, hey, let's have a movie. So Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges confront Kevin Bacon in his house, and Kevin Bacon's like, I know that you're Jeff Bridges under there for some reason, but I want to fuck you, be you the sexy lady. What's that even mean?
Yep.
I have no idea. And then he takes off the model of St. Christopher, and his house turns to shit. And then it's like, why do you want to bring back the dead? He's like, because then it'll all be dead and we can all stay here forever. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? What does that mean?
All right.
And also, what happened? Did you get offered a job at R.I.P.D? Like, what is your story?
I think
He's a cop.
It was dead, and then like he just escaped like any other bad dead.
Oh, okay, yes. And then he blank. We'll fill that in later.
Yeah.
But that's
and now he's here.
That's what's hilarious, right? Because he says, like, yeah, I shouldn't have to go to hell because I took some money for whatever his like crooked cop crimes were. He believed he didn't have to go to hell for them, and he just like ran and became a deado. But when we see Ryan Reynolds, like he's floating up there or whatever, there's no moment where he's like, oh, I'm going to turn away. There's no like decision making thing. And in fact, he's just like yanked into the R.I.P.D.
Yes.
So like, what is when Kevin Bacon's talking about this in the house, you need a flashback.
I want to see one person escape. Yeah.
Yes. Like Kevin Bacon gets killed on the job, and you see him fucking run away and become a dead.
Yes.
You have to, because otherwise it's just the same thing as Ryan Reynolds. And why wasn't Kevin Bacon recruited to be in the R.I.P.D?
And what we also realize is it's 2013. Dark Knight has come out. Spectre came out. The villain has to give himself up to be imprisoned. Avengers as well. But it was all part of his master plan, you see.
Yeah.
So he goes into the R.I.P.D. office with all of his deado friends, and they all have pieces of the gold thing up their ass, I guess
But
is the idea.
not
They've
only
got
that,
these mini
orbs things, these
It's like-
broken orbs. that
2
come
halves
together.
of like a little Death Star model or
Yes,
something.
it does look like the Death Star.
And that freezes the R.I.P.D. in their tracks for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For some reason.
He just is like, look what I did.
It's a magic thing.
Exactly. There's tons of magic
But
from
that's-
back in the day.
That is an insane thing that Kevin Bacon says, though, because he is straight up like, I found a thing that it freezes all the R.I.P.D. cops, but it doesn't affect deados. And he's literally like, isn't it crazy? They got a crazy spell for everything in the afterlife. And I was like, what in the shit are you talking about?
So they get all the pieces of staff and then escape. And now it's like the last act of the movie.
Yep.
Wherein, yes, I mean, like literally, these deados are running around, stomping on people.
I mean, this is a straight up fucking like monster attack, man.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a really tiny version of like Pacific Rim. There's all these fucking monsters running around the city of Boston.
Yeah, not since a level from Fallout have I seen stuff like this.
And yeah, this does also remind me very much of the end of the Avengers movie too, because we're building on top of a building, a big thing that's got a bit of hole in the sky.
Yep.
Things are coming out of it.
It's a bunch of stuff.
So this is
exhausting.
2013. We had that first Avengers.
Yeah, that was
movie.
2012.
2012,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We do get like
Good
this.
God, how is no one sued?
The weather pattern of dead people flying around in the sky is kind of funny.
I mean, I get that like there's a lot of people on this planet and tons of us die every day, but
Sure.
like the volume of souls that we see flying up from the earth at any point.
Are these fresh when they start to rain down? Are these fresh kills? Or are they like?
No.
I don't think it's the fresh kills necessarily.
So these could be like the old. Like,
Is
could
it
we get a-
heaven? Is it hell? What is it?
Could
right?
we get? Yeah, could we get like a joke where it's like Beethoven or something? Not the
Sure,
dog.
yeah.
Oh man,
Maybe
he
the
should
dog,
be in
too.
heaven.
all 8 of them?
I heard all dogs go to heaven.
Oh,
That's-
true. Terribly sad film.
Yes,
but
nobody
like-
wants to watch that.
Like or fucking Ben Franklin. You even do Hitler if you wanted. Like just
Oh,
something
sure.
fun.
Hitler in Boston, he'd fit right in.
Oh yeah, I love the socks. Oh yes, this is a very nice aquarium. Right on the water, just like this. This is beautiful.
Well, I guess he had some good points.
Mind that Gotha, those people in the Southie are very racist. Goodness.
Oh, let's go look for used stuff at Newberry Comics.
Did you know that I went to 3 bars, got 3 different pints, and 3 of my bartenders were bitter against Ben Affleck's success? Could you believe it? Could you believe it?
That one guy hated Ben Affleck.
know, I love that guy.
Too. Oh.
A story for another day. But but now, it's coming down. There's some bullshit part of the horse shit prophecy where you need the blood of the enemy, and he's going to use the blood of
Julia or Julie, whatever the wife is.
She's not a character, so yeah.
It is fucking hysterical though, because this is another total 11th hour Kevin Bacon being like they're on the roof and he has this woman hostage and he's like, as these things as these things tend to go, you need a human sacrifice, bro. And I was like, oh, really? As these things tend to go, Kevin Bacon's character? Okay.
As these movies tend to go, they need stakes. And we are missing them. So
as I'm getting older, I do start to nod off. I kind of started nodding off at the end of this one. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Well,
it's completely understandable.
Because it's just so incomprehensible and Jeff Bridges has to do all of this bullshit, pulling a fucking truck with his teeth or whatever.
The stakes are so broad where it's like the world is ending in some vague way.
Yes.
And the comedy is so broad, it cancels each other out. Who gives a fuck about this?
Can I tell you, getting older, resolutions, say something nice about the movie.
Okay.
I think there is a legitimately funny line when they're talking about, Ryan Reynolds is like, all right, I'm going to go get Kevin Bacon. You take down the thing. And Jeff Bridges just goes, that golden pecker's coming down. And I was like, you know what? That's fucking funny.
I think
because it does look like a big golden dick, by the way.
See, by being nice to the movie, you're being mean to me by making me remember that shit.
All right, just think about him saying it in True Grit instead. It's kind of similar.
Similar-ish accents. One less eyeball with that character.
Yeah. It's sad.
His name's Rooster, too. His name's not Rooster. In this.
The eyeballs on the R.I.P.D. in that movie.
Keep meaning to go back to that one. Only one and done. Really liked it, but
I only saw it the one time in theaters.
Really good.
I really
good return engagement.
Yeah, I want to go back. But yeah, something. He throws a truck at it, and
it got stuck above the fucking shaft.
Yeah,
and he pulls it down.
There's all these holes opening up all over the city.
So things are bouncing around.
And so there's a bunch of wind and whatnot, and this truck just winds up on the top of the building. Thankfully,
because that's the other thing too, actually, which bothered me and made me, to Eric's point, have no interest in this whole movie, is the physics doesn't make any sense, and aside from the blue bullet that's going to erase them from existence, they can never get hurt, they can never get sick or anything like that. So there's no stakes to this fight. It's I know they're not going to fucking erase Jeff Bridges from existence, although that'd be nice.
Well, I mean, if you're taking it from the MIB point of view and you want to go that route with it, I mean, that is kind of a natural way for that character to have the MIB Tommy Lee Jones ending of he gets neuralized and goes back to his wife and whatever. This is well, moving on now, finally, which, by the way, that is exactly how I remembered this movie ending.
Nope, you were way wrong.
Unlike Steve, I am not always thinking about physics during movies.
Oh, you don't say.
No, that's not
You
exactly
thinking about science?
No,
Crazy.
not quite. But I am thinking, what is this cowboy shit I'm about to see? Because Ryan Reynolds' whole thing is show me some cowboy shit.
Yes.
And I guess this is supposed to be a lassoing.
He lassos.
Oh, yeah,
but
lassos,
they don't do I want a full remembering the courses and just
yep. And you're totally right, dude. And you need the score to get all Back to the Future 3 I need
the whole thing.
down home ranch music.
I really wish folks at home could have seen Chris mimic the lasso. He was doing the whole thing.
Yeah, I was. Look, I put
Pretty
effort
great.
into this. Unlike Mr. Bridges,
Yeah.
I would have made sure I was playing whatever this character's name is.
By the way, they do erase at some point Buzz. We should mention.
Oh, yeah,
he gets shot right in the face, which is pretty funny. Another movie that maybe we kind of mentioned here, but it's definitely something that they're aping. is the classic, and I'm not joking, I think it's a legitimately great movie, Ghost.
Yeah.
And here's the shit where, like, the end of the movie, his wife gets run through with a pole.
Yeah.
And so she falls down. Her blood is falling into the thing, so that's why the big golden cock is being activated. But so she's like eating shit, and so she like kind of dies right here on the roof. And she, of course, sees Ryan Reynolds as Ryan Reynolds because she's like half in, half out of this realm.
Sure.
So they have their like kiss goodbye, and I'm just sitting there like, how long has it been since I saw a ghost? Definitely due for a rewatch after this nonsense.
Because he's like, and like in a better movie, it would be a thing where he does try to hold on to her a little too much, but that doesn't come up a ton. And then when he finally is like, you have to move on, find somebody else, blah, blah, blah. That would mean something in a movie. You know what I mean? But it's just Ryan Reynolds and a woman that was just like trying to remember her lines for Iron Man 3. Like, all right, get her accent down.
They have to go now. My planet needs me.
And then she's in a hospital, and there's an old black man doctor that checks in on her that happens to be Mary-Louise Parker, because it's so funny when that shit gets switched, isn't it?
So
it's so funny.
Earlier on in the film, one of the desk scenes with her or whatever, Chelsea's watching it, and she's doing literally anything else, but I'm watching it in her presence. And she sees Mary-Louise Parker, and she's like, she won a Tony.
Yeah.
So we get to this scene here at the end where she's like pretending to be this doctor, and Chelsea just goes, I think it was 2 Tonys. Actually. Like, what the fuck is she doing?
She might have been nominated for a couple Emmys, if not one, possibly.
Right? She was Weeds?
Yeah, she was Weeds. She was all of those Weeds.
Watched one episode of that, and that was more than enough.
Oh, yeah, you don't do that.
No.
Fine. But then she's like, yeah, you know what? So you owe me. You got to see your wife one more time. And you get off with the warning, Ryan Reynolds, and you, Jeff Bridges, get an extra 58 years on your sentence. It's like, 58 more years of this shit, I'm going to end it all. And, I mean, again, you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're not watching television, you're not reading books, you're only working every single moment of everything. It's like Jeff Bezos runs the cosmos.
He might.
I can't even take a break to piss.
Well, okay, but why don't we join the MPD, the Married Bliss Department? Because aren't we really in love with each other, Mary-Louise Parker? Hasn't that been what this whole movie's about?
Wow.
Really, when you think about it, it's me and this lady.
Thank God this didn't come out today, because the age gap discourse on that would be huge, right?
Oh,
he was born in like 1800, and she was probably born in
60s.
Well, if she's got the like 60-ish boots on,
I don't know,
so like
he
early
pre-
50s.
He predates Lloyd Bridges, in fact.
just slightly.
Just a little bit.
Just slightly.
But and I imagine this is because they had a good time on set. Mary-Louise Parker and is it, did I get it right? Yeah,
Mary-Louise Parker.
Yeah, Mary-Louise
Yeah,
Parker and Jeff Bridges. She bites his goatee, like the hair at the end of it.
Yep.
And it is gnarly, man. It is some gnarly shit. She Billy Golded me.
That is
Billy
sexing her up.
Golded.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
I will count. Up until
sure.
then, I'm not convinced. But then I'm like, holy, okay, I'm hard.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's like,
She Billy goated me. It's something we used to do back when we were dating during the Carter administration.
Oh, she's a famous hair chomper. Chomp the hair.
She likes the mouthfeel. I imagine.
There's also there's also a totally dumb thing where this whole movie she's been like Proctor. Ryan Reynolds calls her Ms. Proctor at one point, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't believe you Billy goated me, Mildred."
Yeah.
Just like, all right. Yeah. Of course she has an old lady name. She's a ghost.
Mildred Proctor. She wasn't just proctoring a test. She was actually a person with the last name Proctor.
It turns out it's the family name.
They
Weird.
exist.
I was wondering if it was supposed to be like a Salem-y kind of like witch, you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
an old Mildred Proctor, yada yada. I don't know.
That's something.
See that?
Yeah,
But that'd be something to do.
And it's
I,
also Boston.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of info about our friend Ms. Proctor. I got the first name.
And her ex-boyfriend before me was the devil.
A little gentleman by the name of Black Phillip, actually. A handsome goat.
My girlfriend fucked a goat.
She Billy goated him, too.
She was part of I believe it was a band, the Witches of Eastwick.
Would thou like to live Chompily. So yeah, we're biting some beard hair.
Right.
He gets sentenced for 56 more years.
Woo.
Somebody farted, and then the credits came
Yes,
on.
Thank
the-
God for that.
Yay.
Thank
And
God
the
for the
credits,
fart.
every character has like their own accessory. Like Bridges has the cowboy hat. I think Reynolds has the gun. She's got the boots.
Oh.
Mary-Louise Parker's boots.
Absolutely. Oh, we did already mention it, but the whole gag is the end of it is Jeff Bridges like, oh, you hated being the old Chinese fella, so I got you a new costume from storage.
Yeah.
And it's just this little like redheaded 12-year-old Girl Scout with headgear braces driving the car.
And again, that would be a problem, wouldn't it? Like that would
Yeah.
get them into less
Totally.
areas.
Yeah. You know, if the next R.I.P.D case
Yes.
is like
At
I
a
don't
bar.
Yeah, like a crooked bar owner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't be showing ID. So there is a couple of songs here.
Oh, good. Thank God.
A remix of Robin's Konnichiwa Bitches, which was a
right.
Robin tune I was not aware of.
Yeah, I was.
I'm not aware of a lot of Robin tunes, but I definitely wasn't aware of that one. But then
The Robin tune I know is The Bird Outside.
that's right, dude.
Yeah.
Well, Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, Robin Hood Egg.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
sure.
that guy's involved.
But then Jeff Bridges, and this is how I know
Dude, I did dutifully scan on Peacock
to see if you saw any images.
Yeah,
Totally
but
fine.
that was it. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
But we were talking, I don't remember where, on second songs.
Yes,
on soundtracks. At the credits, right? So they do that song, which the Robin song appears at other points in the movie.
Sure.
But then the second song that takes you through most of the rest of the credits is Jeff Bridges singing in like a studio produced version of that song he sings on the squeeze box sitting on the waterfront.
Wow, that's a treat for everyone who stayed in the theater.
I guess
It's like
for
The
like-
Better Man, I think is the song.
I guess because he likes to do music. He
Yeah.
didn't
Right.
he make a couple songs for Crazy Heart,
He
probably.
put
I
out a
think so,
record.
He put out a
Yes.
record, yeah. And his beautiful singing voice.
Yeah.
It's kind of the best part of the movie.
Sure.
Because he's not
Yeah,
he's
So the
just
end
doing
credits,
a
the end
beautiful
credits
voice.
is the best part of the movie.
I think in this
Finally.
case,
It
finally,
is.
it's actually true. That is the end of this movie. Final thoughts and recommendations. Eric Sisko.
It is terrible. You know what? Honestly, I feel like I had rose-colored tinted lenses thinking back on it. Not that I ever liked it. I never liked it, but I was just like, Jeff Bridges is fun and affable enough. How bad can this be? I haven't seen it in 10 years.
Right.
So much worse than I remembered. And I, you know, like I was fucked up then. I was fucked up now. So
Sure.
nothing
Yeah.
changed. It's just a terrible movie.
Yeah,
Please avoid.
sure.
Chris Cabin.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. You shouldn't watch it ever. Also, I would say just maybe this is just me on this one. Ryan Reynolds movies in general, just avoid them. Him leading a movie, not a good idea. I would say.
What about a co-lead situation?
But that's it. That's my exact point.
Okay.
He is he is good spice. If you add him to a stew, it's nice. He cannot be the stew. He is not the beef. He just happens. He's just a handsome Canadian. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that's all that happened. And like you just put too much on this guy, and now he tries to make all these different movies. They all suck, and like you're never gonna get an Adventureland again.
Yeah.
You're just stuck with this, and
Yeah.
it pisses you off to watch it.
Steve Szostak.
No, this is like high concept Swiss cheese. You need to make this make any kind of sense, and it would still be really bad because the idea again of a police department in the afterlife is fucking bone chilling.
Very
nice.
But I just don't. It doesn't make any sense. It's not fun, and it ages really, really poorly.
Totally. Here's a question, because I kind of chopped these, or combined these two movies in my head as far as like dumbest donkey dick movies based on comic books I will never in 1,000 fucking lifetimes read. Which is worse, R.I.P.D. or Jonah Hex?
Ooh.
R.I.P.D.
Jonah Hex.
Oh no,
Ooh.
worse you said?
Yeah, which is the worst?
Oh,
movie?
R.I.P.D. is much worse.
Jonah Hex.
No.
Ooh,
God damn it!
Take
Ooh.
Jonah Hex any day on this.
I will
Stumping Szostak.
No, I think I'm going to go with Jonah Hex as well. I think that movie has a lot of silly bullshit in it.
Yeah. By a Billy Goat's hair.
Yeah,
For me,
exactly.
it's
Because I mean,
Jonah Hex.
at least like Jeff Bridges is kind of fun in this movie.
Yes.
Sure.
And I think that there's nothing in Jonah Hex.
This is what's crazy, though. I think I agree with you, but in Jonah Hex, walks and talks a little bit like a movie.
Yes.
A little bit more.
for sure.
A little bit more.
It's
little
more
bit more.
coherent by a lot.
But then on the other side of it, yeah, Bridges is actually fun. Whereas in that movie, you got John Chaco Snitch as the bad guy, and Brolin's the Jonah Hex. I
Brolin,
think.
yes.
You got Fassbender as like his weirdo psycho.
The
You got
crooked guy.
Will Arnett as like a
Yes.
union officer
Yeah.
for 5 seconds. I mean,
None of it gets to the level of Bridges, which again, like he thought the movie was weak sauce. He was disappointed with the cut, but he clearly had fun making it.
By the way, Jonah Hex previous episode, if you haven't
Yes.
heard that one, you can go back and hear us say the same kind of shit about that movie.
And I'll just clarify, this movie's dog shit. Also, the sequel is dog shit. Sequel, prequel.
Yep.
Don't bother with any of it. And I'm sorry for anybody out there who's like a legit R.I.P.D. comic fan. I don't know anything about nothing
No.
with that, but they got to be out
There's
there.
got to be one. All right.
And if you were bummed out, I'm sorry. You know that movie sucks.
And
shit.
if you like this movie, that's okay too.
And if you see Richard Brake at any hardware store,
Leave
he's
him
just going there for legitimate reasons.
Yeah.
He probably has to caulk his tub. It's okay.
He's
Leave him
fixing
alone.
his house up while
Totally.
everyone else left.
the tub's leaking, he's not imprisoning women in his
You
basement.
might just need a light bulb, folks.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
sometimes you go there for that.
That is our episode on R.I.P.D, the Rest in Peace Department. If you want more We Hate Movies, check out patreon.com/We Hate Movies. There is indeed a We Love Movies episode all about Jeff Bridges in The Big Lebowski, available right now. What are we doing for AD this month, Steve?
You know what? I've been dicking around it far too long. I
Yep.
think we're doing Gargoyles. We're going to do an episode of Gargoyles.
Okay, good cartoon.
Nice,
Mhm.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
so it's kind of it might be a We Love Animation, Damnation, whatever, or maybe it's not. We get some fucking sick Keith David voice acting.
No, that's exciting.
Ooh, hell yeah. What are we doing over on the Gleep
The
Glossary?
Gleep Glossary, the 50th
Big
episode.
5-0. Gleep Glossary's over the hill now, dude.
It is over the hill. So that's what the critics are saying also on Reddit. But we're going to be doing Count Dooku.
Hell yeah.
And I thought about this for multiple reasons. Obviously, Christopher Lee is great, but he's sort of he's not in it, but like Count Dooku is kind of important to the new season of the Bad Batch on
Oh,
Disney
okay.
Plus.
Okay.
I decided to give that another shot, by the way. I went back
Yeah.
and watched the first episode, which is like 76 minutes. So
I
that
gotta
was my
say,
night.
I was surprised. I watched some of the new season. It's that I was never a fan of the 3D animation, but it's looking way better.
Interesting.
It's looking
Okay.
better
Nice.
this
That's
year.
cool.
So
I like that.
tying to that
Mhm.
and tying just for a love of Dooku in general.
Love that,
Sure.
Dooku.
We're gonna be talking Dooku.
And
Big
this
Dooku.
month also, we have welcoming it back. I miss it every month we don't have it. Once in a Lifetime returns with a what is this?
Sleepwalking in Suburbia, is that
That
correct?
That
sounds
is
right.
correct. Yes. Now, eventually, so they do this sleepwalking movie about a woman sleepwalking and all the trouble she gets into with that.
Yep.
Eventually, she enters the
The Doctor's
Yes.
universe.
sleepwalkers.
Nightmare. A sleepwalker's nightmare.
Yes.
So yes, eventually it will all collide because we've done all the Stalked by My Doctor movies until this.
Yes.
But after we do this movie, we can eventually do that movie
Yes,
we will
where
finally
Dr.
do-
Beck attacks her.
the
We
biggest crossover event of whatever the
Thank
day
you.
it was released on.
Well, we didn't want people to be confused if we went right into the next
Oh, of
Stalked
course
by
not.
My Doctor.
Exactly.
Sure.
Of course.
And
the
you don't
world
know.
building that Lifetime has been doing.
Yeah, you don't know the story of this lady that sleepwalks and fucks a neighbor and gets pregnant, which I think is what the plot
think
description
so.
said.
Sounds right. We also will have another Melrose 210. Like
Hell yeah.
usual. I'm sure it will involve a lot of fucking, as it tends to do
That's
these
true.
days.
And
Yep.
fucking's not just stopping there. It's also on the Nexus, our Star Trek recap podcast, where
Absolutely.
we talk about an episode of TOS and an episode of TNG. Last month, for instance, was a lot of fun. The great riff there about the Three Stooges having sex. So it's not just Star Trek, folks.
No.
You're only getting half the experience by not being a patron.
That's right. And on this main feed, next Tuesday, brand new episode, Steve. What are we talking about?
We were talking about Sleepless in Seattle, I
Ooh,
believe.
Just in
baby.
time for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Get ready to get creepy.
Yeah, baby. Make sure your son gets you a wife.
I'm excited. I've never seen this, but I can't wait for
Really?
I guess the creepitude that's involved.
You've
Yes.
never seen Sleepless in Seattle?
Why would I watch Sleepless in
That's a
Seattle?
good point.
That would be, it's Tom. I love Tom Hanks.
No,
I
but
guess.
it's Eric,
I mean,
though.
I guess, yeah, Eric.
Nothing to do with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
No, I just hate Seattle ever
Oh,
since we
I
got supposed to do a show there years ago, and that didn't happen. So that's got a grudge.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Steve, are you double checking that is indeed the episode?
It is
and we're
indeed.
good to go.
Yes, we are
Okay,
good to
Hey,
great.
you know what? It's fair to check. We do a lot here on We Hate Movies,
So
including
much.
over on youtube.com/We Hate Movies. Every Monday at noon Eastern, we are doing On-Screen Live, where we are talking entertainment news, box office receipts, trailer reactions, shit we're watching in theaters and otherwise. A lot going on there. You don't want to miss that. The
I'm
live
just gonna-
experience.
I don't want to take all the energy out of the room, but I just got some disturbing news on my phone.
What happened?
DC's Pennyworth has been canceled.
Oh, no.
Oh, fuck!
No.
Oh,
No. Seriously, we have to get off the
Wait,
air.
so
Well,
that-
all right.
Jesus Christ! Wow.
This
Does
is
that-
colon
I can't-
I want to be clear. We're
Batman's-
recording this on February 1st.
colon
It's 8:23.
Batman's butt.
So
This-
Batman's butler is
Butler.
We'll never know how he becomes Batman's.
This
He
clearly
lures
is
his
going
butt.
to derail the plan for Pennyworth, a penny's worth, a Pennyworth movie.
You know what? We're just gonna have to get out of here and go more and
Yes.
rewatch some Pennyworth. So
Cry.
maybe we'll be back if we can fucking manage a conversation
That's a
after the
gut punch.
cancellation of Pennyworth.
That's a gut punch.
I'm disgusted. You know what? Until next week, I'm Andrew Jupin.
I guess I'll have to be Steven Sadak.
Eric Siska.
I'm not saying my name.
Rest in peace, Alfred Pennyworth.
That was a HeadGum podcast.